All right, Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. From Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium here in Austin. We've got Big 12 football for you on Fox as TCU comes into town to take on the 9th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson, along with my partner, Joel Klatt, and welcome to Austin, Texas. These two teams started Big 12 play last week. TCU losing at home to Iowa State. Texas having to come back on the road in overtime against Texas Tech. Sam Ehlinger was terrific in the comeback, and partner, it's hard to believe Sam Ehlinger is a senior. I remember, seems like just yesterday he was a freshman.
I know. I think the opponents are like, hey, he's been here for 10 years, right? But Sam played so well late last week. Let me take you to the critical plays. First of all, they needed to score a touchdown and get a two-point conversion. Here's the touchdown. He moves the safety over to the left with his eyes. Then he gets Joshua Moore right up the seam, and he throws it just on his back shoulder in order to get the completion for the touchdown. Now they've got a three-option play. The wide receiver screen at the top can't do that with 4 defenders. QB draw can't do that with 6 defenders and only 5 blockers. Got to play one-on-one on the bottom, and he does it so calmly, throws it right on the face mask of Brennan Eagles, and they're able to tie the game and then eventually get the win. The guys just touched on it. He's going to have to play very well and much better than he did a year ago against this TCU squad. Yes, they lost, but remember, it was their first game. Gary Patterson's going to have his team much improved than what they were a week ago. That improvement from week 1 to week 2. I expect TCU to play very well today, in particular on defense. This should be a tight one here in Austin.
Great day for football here in Central Texas. 73 degrees at kickoff time. TCU won the toss, deferred, so Texas will receive it to start. Bijan Robinson is the deep man for the Longhorns, and he'll bring it out of the end zone. Robinson, and he is chopped down as he gets close to the 10. Terrific special teams work by the Horned Frogs early, and that'll bring on Sam Ehlinger, senior quarterback for this Texas Longhorn team. 27-40 last week, 262, 5 touchdowns, a pick, and he rushed for 69 yards.
Listen, he's playing great football. You guys just touched on it. 10 touchdowns.
Kicking team number 6. 5-yard penalty, will re-kick at the 30-yard line.
Oh, wow, that's a huge mistake there. They get an offside call on the kickoff, and now they're going to have to re-kick it after that great coverage had pinned Texas inside the 20. So a mistake here on the opening kick for Gary Patterson's squad, because that would have been really advantageous for their defense to get out there with Texas backed up.
Gary Patterson, 60 years old in his 20th season at TCU. So this is a series that dates back to 1897. Texas leads it 63-26 with 1 tie. But TCU has won 6 of the 8 games played against Texas since joining the Big 12 in 2012. But remember, last year TCU beat Texas in Fort Worth 37-27 as Max Duggan broke a 20-all tie with a 44-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Rieger in the 3rd quarter, and then iced the game with an 11-yard touchdown run with 2 minutes left. Horned Frogs will re-kick it. They're looking for a better performance after that 37-34 loss in Fort Worth last week to Iowa State. Robinson, will he get a shot at it? Yes, from inside the 5. Bijan Robinson on his feet, down the sideline. Bijan Robinson, can he get there? Short of the goal line, but there is a flag on the play. And I don't think TCU will ever want to re-kick to this guy.
Whew. Electric ability from the freshman.
Partner, if you're not up, now you are.
Now we're ready to go.
Now we're ready to play.
Oh, man. I tell you what. Had that scary incident last week where he was bent backwards but didn't show any ill effects there.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Offside, kicking team number 19. Holding, receiving team number 28. Those penalties offset will re-kick.
Oh, my goodness. Now, I know that Gary Patterson...
well, now Tom Herman is beyond, right? I mean, one kick they got
offside.
That's just...
On the kickoff? It's early, pardon.
It's inexcusable. That is inexcusable. One get pinned down inside the 20. Great for TCU. Then Robinson shows why he was the #1 running back recruit in the country. There's, boy, the 30 is the line here, and they were just over it. Boy, that was awfully close. That was very picky.
So TCU will kick it yet again. Griffin Kell.
Gary's going to tell him, don't move until the ball's kicked.
Here we go. This one a line drive short. Bobbled. Picked up. Roshan Johnson breaking tackles, and Roshan Johnson, a good run back. Now we get an opportunity.
No flags, Gus. No flags on the field.
Now we get an opportunity to see Sam Ehlinger as he comes on the field. This will be his 36th career start. He's 22-13 in the first 35. And he leads FBS in passing touchdowns with 10 in 2 games.
And he's gotten better every single year. Completion percentage, passing yards per game. What he needs to do is cut down on the interceptions he threw a year ago. And if he does that, I think he's primed for a monster season.
Threw 4 picks in the loss to TCU last season. Ehlinger throwing on first down underneath. Nicely done. But Joshua Moore unable to hold on to it as it squirts out of his hands.
It's interesting with this team here because they do feel like they've got a better offensive line than they've had in the past. Samuel Cosme, the left tackle, probably their leader up front. And then they're talented on the outside. They just don't feel like they have that star receiver. Remember, they're missing Devin Duvernay. They're missing Colin Johnson from a year ago. So you got to establish the leader on the outside.
On second down, Ehlinger's in trouble. And he'll just throw this into no man's land. Good rush by the Horned Frog.
And this Horned Frog defense, they were embarrassed last week because this is not what they were used to. Iowa State ran all over them. It should be noted the majority of those yards that Iowa State gained, in particular in the run game, were on 5 big plays. They've got a tackle back, Terrell Cooper. He's one of their best players up front. Garrett Wallow is an all Big 12 performer at linebacker, and then 2 of the best safeties in America in Merrick and Washington back deep.
Reese Hall for Iowa State ran for 154 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 10 at the 33. Empty backfield for Sam Ehlinger. Out of the shotgun. Ehlinger with time off his back foot underneath and incomplete. Intended for Joshua Moore. So Texas comes up empty on their first series. Hodges Tomlinson covering defensively for TCU.
And yes, that is the nephew of LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. Hodges Tomlinson was beat a couple of times last week, but great coverage there. This is a hallmark for TCU, Gus, is that tight coverage in the secondary, and you see it on the opening series.
J.D. Spielman ready to return, the Nebraska transfer, the son of Rick Spielman and his wife Michelle Spielman, their brother, our colleague Chris Spielman, the Ohio State legend. J.D. with an opportunity, nice spin, gets to the 20, bounces it outside with room, and tiptoes out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Time now to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline. Today, the All-American girl, Jenny Tack.
Well, guys, the Longhorns do expect to be challenged today by TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Now, D coordinator Chris Ash, he even said that, you know, Duggan is the closest thing to Sam Ehlinger that we have in this league. And this is a pretty remarkable last couple months for Duggan. Just want to catch you guys up to speed. Less than 2 months ago, through COVID testing, he learned that he's suffering from a heart condition. It's called Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. It causes a rapid heartbeat, guys. It needed to be corrected. 9 hours later, he is good to go. That is a pretty crazy last couple months for Max Duggan, but his teammates have rallied behind him. They're playing for their QB today.
All right, thank you very much. Didn't I see Jenny on TV yesterday? And she's at the game here today?
Jenny does it all. She's the best.
She can do, oh, man, that's a lot of working for her. And now here's Duggan coming on the field. Max Duggan, 6'2", 201. On first down from the 41. He'll throw it on first down, out wide, and he has his man, Dylan Thomas. And Dylan Thomas gains about 8 yards on the play.
Because this offensive line did not play well a week ago, and they're trying to replace 4 starters. They tried to rotate a bunch of different guys in a week ago, never quite got it right. On the outside, they are young but talented, and when I say talented, I mean very talented. Keep your eye on number 1, Quentin Johnson, top of your screen right now for TCU. He is a great wide receiver who was committed to Texas, and TCU flipped him late last recruiting cycle.
2nd down and 2 at the 49 for Duggan. Getting the start today. He'll pull it down. He can run really well. Duggan slides at the 40. Picks up the first down, keeping the chains moving for Gary Patterson's Horned Frogs.
Check out his ability to improvise here. As he sees right there, he's going to have that little screen pass block, so he just tucks it and gets right back up the middle of the field, gains positive yardage. That's exactly what Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator here for Texas, was worried about, was the legs of Duggan. He's the type of guy that can extend plays and hurt you with his legs. Last year in this ballgame, he ran for 6 first downs against the Longhorns.
Making his 11th career start. 1st and 10 at the 42. Opening series for TCU. And they'll hand it off as we take a look at the defense.
And a revamped defense. I just mentioned their brand new defensive coordinator, and he's going to change schemes a little bit. And they've got a couple of guys that they're excited about in the front 7. Taquan Graham, Joseph Osai, to be sure. Chris Ash loves his secondary. They're experienced. Remember, 10 different guys had to play last year because of all the injuries, so they're experienced in the back end, and he feels like they're going to tackle much better today.
2nd down and 6 at the 38-yard line. Duggan. As he throws, and incomplete. Intended for DeMercado out of the backfield. Jawan Mitchell covering for Texas.
A nice little stunt here, and it gets right up into the face. That's number 49, Taquan Graham. They said he's got a chance to be a great one. You see how he had to throw that just a beat earlier. Probably should have been caught, but brings up a big 3rd down.
Darwin Barlow comes in the game at running back now for TCU, facing a 3rd and 6 at the 38. Texas showing blitz, and they may have jumped offside.
Yeah, definitely did. Huge mistake there from Jawan Mitchell, Gus, the linebacker who was trying to time up that blitz.
Offense, number 24. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Wow, they got see that? Oh my goodness. Mitchell was bailed out because of that lean by Darwin Barlow in the backfield, because he leaned just a little bit sooner than when Mitchell crossed the neutral zone. I tell you what, that's a big break for Texas, because that was going to make it a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short basically, and now you're back into a big obvious down 3rd and 11, and Gary Patterson's incensed over that call. But listen, to me, it is correct, because as soon as the movement in the backfield takes place, the play is dead. It's a false start.
Prior to the running back false starting, we had offsides, defense with contact, the 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I totally disagree with this. Watch the movement. See, the swaying is happening way before he's in the neutral zone. It's not a penalty from Mitchell, the linebacker, until he crosses that blue line and then makes contact, because he can go into the neutral zone and then get back out. And the movement from the running back was certainly taking place before that. So that was a discussion that took place on the field by the officials, but they did not get that one right. This is a huge benefit for TCU.
3rd down and 1 at the 33. Barlow remains in the game. Duggan will run it right behind Barlow, looking for the first down, and he will not get it. Terrific surge by Jawan Mitchell. Watch number 6 get to the football.
Mitchell comes flying up from that linebacker spot, and he's able to get Duggan, who just never gets going because that offensive line didn't get much movement. And they stop him there, force a 4th down. Now, their kicker does have a big leg. Griffin Kell has a huge leg, career long of 52, but they're going to go for it here, Gus. Duggan's going to stay on the field, and the Horned Frogs are going to try to move the chains on their first series.
Ball at the 35-yard line, 4th down and 3 for Duggan. Remember, he's got great wheels.
Delay. Didn't get it snapped.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And what you're seeing in college football, you're seeing a lot of early mistakes by teams. It looks like they're just not in sync yet.
Well, and I would call a lot of these process mistakes, right? Like a quarterback, and remember, Duggan missed, upwards of 6 weeks, like Jenny had just talked about, where he didn't get practice time, and he saw the clock and he was trying to clap, but the center is not on the same page, and they get moved back.
So Jordy Sandy pops it in the air. Fair caught at the 11. Another flag on the play.
And a lot of flags in all these early season games across college football.
During the kick, personal foul, hands to the face, receiving team number 15. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. 1st down, Texas.
All right, time now for Progressive Game Flow. We're here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin. Big Noon Saturday is presented by AT&T Business, keeping your business connected. Now with 5G nationwide. And is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. A beautiful day here in Austin, but we've had more penalties for than plays that gained positive yards so far, as Texas will start deep in their own territory.
This is not where you want to be with this defense. They're aggressive. They love to get into that perfect play call from Gary Patterson.
1st down and 10 for the Longhorns. Ellinger wrapped up at the goal line. Wow, looked like a busted play, but sitting there is Kerry Coleman, who tackles Sam Ellinger for a loss.
And this is Coleman's first start this year. He's just a true freshman from New Orleans, and they wanted to get more speed on the field, so they're going with Mathis on one side, number 32, and then Coleman on the other, number 11.
And another penalty. It's Texas. Ellinger's taking the snap in his own end zone.
False start. Offense number 26. Half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
Now pick the winner of 6 college football games on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, and you could win $50,000. It's free to play, so download the Fox Bet Super 6 app. There's still time to get your picks in for today's Super 6 game and an extra contest for this game right now. 2nd down and 15 at the 1. And now the fans in attendance are starting to get a little antsy about all these calls and all these mistakes being made by both teams to start. Early kick, 11 a.m. kick here in Austin.
Offside. Defense with contact, number 98. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, they're upset because they blew this dead, and they had a running lane there, and they've got it right here because there wasn't contact before they blew it dead. And this is a great little use of that clap cadence by Sam Ellinger. When you're backed up in the shadow of your own goal line, use a hard cadence or a double clap if you're a young quarterback, because if you jump offside yourself and it's a illegal procedure or false start, you only get backed up half the distance. But that free 5 yards, Gus, is huge, like it is here.
2nd down and 10 at the 6 for Texas. And they'll hand it off to Deontay Ingram with running room, and he plows forward, chopped down at the 11-yard line by Kerry Coleman.
Well, let's see if they can move the chains here, and we'll see if they can get into some tempo. They talked about wanting to play faster to avoid letting Gary Patterson call the perfect defensive call against their formation. But that only works if you're in normal down situations. So they've got to get this 1st down in order to get into that tempo.
And ironically, somehow Gary Patterson knew that they'd probably try to speed things up.
That's right.
That's what he told us. 3rd down and 5 at the 11.
All right, Leo 20, Leo 20, Leo 20. Here we go. Go ahead, go.
Ellinger drops it off. Wide open receiver. Ingram out of the backfield with room. Stutter step, stiff arm, still on the move, and finally dragged down by Hodges Tomlinson after a huge gain. Sam Ellinger finding the open man.
Another missed opportunity here for TCU. They've got third down, and sure enough, they blow the coverage. They let Keontae Ingram get loose on that left side.
Offense, number 80. He was covered up on the line of scrimmage and went down on the forward pass. 5-yard penalty, replay third down.
And a formation error back there.
So the 48-yard gain will be wiped away, and there's an injured Longhorn on the field. And that's Ingram, who went down really hard when he was tackled. Actually was slammed to the turf.
My goodness, this could not be a choppier or start for these teams. Legit calls. I mean, listen, just absolute mistakes from both of these teams.
So the illegal formation wipes out the 48-yard gain. That makes it third down and 10 at the 6. Sam Ellinger in trouble, wants to run it, looking for room, and he will not pick up the first down on the play. Garrett Wallow along with Kari Coleman combining on the tackle, so Texas will punt the football.
You know, this is where, as a quarterback, if you're Ellinger, whether you're a veteran or a young guy, you've got to establish your leadership. If I was Ellinger, I would get the entire offense together on the field, on the sideline right now, and talk to them about just calming down, line up correctly, let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot, because Texas certainly had something going there with that big play and just lined up poorly.
Ryan Buchevsky, the junior, about 5 yards deep in his own end zone. J.D. Spielman, the return man, standing at his own 46.
Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
All right, no one's awake for Texas.
Nobody.
Tom Herman's got to be livid right now under that mask, because this is as sloppy a start as you can possibly find.
Buchevsky sends it away. Spielman backs it up, bobbles it. Now turns a corner, another flag on the play. Spielman finally tracked out from behind at the 37, make it the 38-yard line. Jet Bush defensively for Texas on special teams. But another flag.
Will be the 9th penalty of the day.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 0 of the return team. The 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, TCU.
That would be Marcel Brooks, the sophomore from Fort Worth. No score. A lot of mistakes early. Let's see if they can straighten some things out here in Austin. Built for Success is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the personalized playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
This TCU receiving core is built for success. They're deep at receiver. They've got 7 players taller than 6'2". Tay Barber, 82 yards and a touchdown last week. Very talented. And remember, Texas struggled against the talented wide receivers for Texas Tech a week ago. We'll see if TCU can capitalize.
First down at the 33 for the Horned Frogs. And they'll hand it off on first down. Barlow hits the edge and picks up a first down. Nice big opening, as Chris Brown is there to knock him out of play.
And now TCU will get a little bit of a pace going, and I think tempo can help you get into a rhythm and avoid some of those mistakes that we're seeing early.
Gain of 12. Duggan drops it off. It's caught, but not a lot of room for Tay Barber, as Caden Stearns comes up and makes the tackle.
Stern's a really talented player, 6'1", 200 pounds, but needs to play better than he did a week ago. They talked about the missed tackles, so many missed tackles, in particular in space. That was a great moment there if you're a Texas fan, watching him come up, make the tackle in space, really sure tackle as well.
Second down and 9 at the 46. Option, trick play, Barber. Can he get around the corner? Yes, he can, and Barber goes out of bounds close to that first down marker. Jalen Green there to knock him out of play. Dangerous looking play, though, for TCU.
It really was. Keandre Coburn, number 99, was in the backfield, and it looked like he was going to get to Duggan before Duggan could even flip that ball to Barber. It was almost blown up before it could even get started. Barber was able to get the ball down the field, and now a really manageable third down situation.
Max Duggan from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Third down and 1 at the 46. Barlow breaks through the hole and picks up the first. So now it looks like the Horned Frogs offensive line is starting to find a little flow.
Yeah, that's a good sign for TCU fans, is to see a short yardage where TCU wins the line of scrimmage. They get all the defenders covered up front, and then you're able to just sneak through for a first down. That's something that I didn't see a lot of last week. The offensive line played better in the second half as they made that comeback, ultimately falling short of Iowa State. And we'll see if they've got the rotation right here. It looks like they're playing a little bit better so far.
First down and 10 at the 39. Barlow's been getting a lot of work here in the first quarter. They give it to him again, and he jitterbugs through the hole. Jacoby Jones wraps him up. He'll pick up a couple.
He's a really talented young running back, and they're just waiting on one of these young running backs to really establish themselves. We haven't seen Zach Evans yet in this season. He was out because of COVID contact tracing. He's the 5-star commit, number 2 running back in the country, and we haven't seen him on the field yet, but several talented young players that could potentially emerge as the feature back for TCU.
Second down and 6 at the 35. And it's Barber on the reverse, and this time Texas was waiting for him. Nicely done by this Longhorn defense as they smelled it out. Juwan Mitchell, Joseph Osai right on the spot.
Yeah, Juwan Mitchell reads this perfectly, and then he gets right into the backfield. Great tackle right there. Nowhere for Barber to go as they're trying to get creative in the run game, bring Barber in from that wide receiver position and get him the ball in different ways, but Texas was ready for that one.
Loss of 1. Third down and 7 at the 36. They need to get inside the Texas 30-yard line for a first down around the 29.5. Duggan in the shotgun. High snap, handle with one hand by Duggan. As he throws, and he put it on a rope. Davis with the grab. Darius Davis ran a terrific route, and when he turned, partner, the ball was right there.
Well, it had to be because he was getting all sorts of pressure. How about this catch? Was he in? It looks like he was just in. What a throw from Duggan, who was getting some heavy pressure from Joseph Osai and had to get rid of that ball immediately.
Gain of 9, first down TCU. Duggan, screen, here we go. Foster with room, breaks it back and is horse-collared and taken down close to the first down marker again. Daquan Graham, Caden Stearns.
Boy, we've seen several times this defense get really close to Duggan. That one was a design screen, so you're inviting the rush upfield and trying to dump it underneath, but really solid play call and design here for TCU early.
First down at the 16. And Duggan keeps it. Duggan for the end zone dives. Should be a touchdown, but there is a flag on the play.
I think they're going to get Andrew Coker, the right tackle. He pulled around to the left side, and it looked like he just grabbed the linebacker as Duggan ran right past him. That was the reason that edge was so clean, as Overshown, the linebacker, was trying to get there.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. There is no foul for holding.
So touchdown TCU. Max Duggan using his legs. But did he get in is the question. No, he did not.
He was certainly short of the goal line with that right foot. That's a very clear picture. Great job by our guys getting that shot. I'd love to take a look as well as what they waved off, because there was a flag out for Andrew Coker, who had pulled around.
Ruling on the play
certainly
of
grabbed
touchdown is
Overshown.
under further review for the runner stepping out of bounds potentially.
It should be noted, even during this review, Gus, because they picked up that holding call, the holding is not subject to the review. So this won't have anything. Here's 74 working against Overshown. Watch as he grabs him all the way around and holds him as Duggan runs right past him, and then he lets go. The flag came out. They picked it up. I'm not sure why. And this is what they're going to review, that right foot being out just a half yard short of that pylon. So this will certainly come back, and it looked like, I tell you what's interesting is that foot probably hit right before he lost possession. Had it not, it looked like he was losing possession as he was crossing the goal line, and then it would have been out of the end zone for a fumble out of the end zone going the other direction. I mean, there's some wild stuff happening, and I can't keep up, to be honest with you.
I tell you what, Gary Patterson, 20 years, he's seen it all. Patterson has led the Horned Frogs to 5 top 10 finishes since the 2008 season.
After review, the runner stepped out of bounds with the ball at the 1 yard line. It'll be first and goal for TCU at the 1.
Lots of stuff happening. I mean, Texas has got to be beside themselves that they didn't call that holding. Certainly should have stayed on, but now they get a bit of a break that TCU doesn't score. They'll have first and goal here, and we'll see if this defensive line can hold for Tom Herman. Couldn't be a worse start for Texas so far, and TCU is taking advantage of these small breaks that they're getting. Here we'll see if they can punch it in.
First down and goal from the 1. Darwin Barlow lines up in the backfield with Max Duggan. Play fake. Duggan drops it off, incomplete. Carter Ware, backup tight end, the intended receiver.
Pretty good coverage there from Stearns, who was in that passing lane as they were trying to get the ball to the tight end.
Second down and goal from the 1. Duggan hands it off. And Barlow, did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown TCU. So the Horned Frogs pay it off as Darwin Barlow scores the first touchdown of the game.
Nice second effort here. A little bit of a missed tackle there from Mitchell. And then as he's contacted, he just presses forward. And with that left knee off the turf, leans over the goal line against 2 Texas defenders for the TCU touchdown.
Griffin Kell, extra point, good. So TCU with 4:01 to play. In the first quarter, the Horned Frogs take a 7-0 lead. Tuesday on FS1, the National League Division Series begins with a pair of games. Game 1's, the Marlins battle Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves, and the Padres go up against Mookie Betts and the Dodgers. The NLDS begins Tuesday on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. How good is Mookie Betts?
I'll tell you, that whole Dodgers team. How about the comeback from the Padres, too? Or down in the middle of the 6th of game 2.
That's your old organization. You played in the Padres organization.
Well, played is a relative term. You know, I tried to play a couple of games.
How many years were you in the minors? 2 or 3?
3 seasons.
3 seasons. What cities?
Idaho Falls. Idaho was one of them. Played in Phoenix in the Peoria League right there in Peoria, Phoenix. Played a game in Fort Wayne.
Cool.
No, it's not fun.
You were young. Kurt.
Oh, my goodness.
Coming up, we'll see if Sam Ehlinger and the Texas Longhorns can get their act together. They've been sloppy. We'll be back after this. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Ram, built to serve. And by Wendy's new pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger. Tell you what, we need to give both these teams a couple of cheeseburgers right now.
They need something right now. Get it going. Although that was a good series from Duggan and that TCU offense. They had pressure in Duggan's face. He was able to make some plays. And this is exactly what Gary Patterson said they needed, was a fast start. And they were able to get that and get the lead here on the road.
So Sam Ehlinger will start from his 25-yard line. Ingram, Roshan Johnson in the backfield. Ehlinger running it. And Ehlinger dives across the 30 up to the 31-yard line.
Moments of protection brought to you by Allstate. Get a quote today. Last week it was Sam Ehlinger protecting this season for Texas. They were able to come back at the onside kick. He was able to deliver, tie the football game up, and then delivered late to Moore for an overtime win for the Texas Longhorns. That's one of those games you don't apologize for how it looks. You just say, I'm going to take the W and get out of there. And certainly Ehlinger and the Longhorns were able to do that.
2nd down and 5 at the 30. Ehlinger, quarterback keeper again as he picks his way forward. Remember, this is such an important game for this Texas team because this is the first time in the Tom Herman era that the Longhorns have started 2-0. If they win this one, they head into Red River, and they could get a lot of attention.
Offense number 78, 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
That's Denzel Okafor.
Okafor was the pulling lineman, and watch as he's coming around right here. And he gets that block and then kind of wraps around and goes down on top of the defensive player. It looked like that was 11, Kari Coleman. And Texas again gets backed up.
Already 6 penalties against the Longhorns. 2nd and long. Ehlinger looks to his left, delivers to the sideline, incomplete. That one's sailing high for Jake Smith, who returns to the Texas lineup.
They love his ability in the slot, his quickness. He's fast. That one sailed way too high as Ehlinger couldn't really step into that throw. He had some pocket issues kind of in his lap. But, boy, this has just been a terrible start for the Texas offense. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Lots of errors so far for the Longhorns, and now a huge 3rd and long.
3rd down and 15 at the 20. Ehlinger, low snap handle with time, delivers down the sideline. Oh, what a catch, Jake Smith. Welcome back. But another flag.
Pass interference, offense, number 7. Half the distance to the goal, replay 3rd down.
Well, let's see how Jake Smith, who's on the outside, he's going to switch to release right there, and now he's on the outside working against Noah Daniels. There's some hand fighting right there, and I don't see it. Ehlinger sees the flag. You can tell he's so disappointed because that was a huge play for Texas. I don't know, Gus. I didn't see much in there.
3rd down and 25. Ehlinger over the middle, caught. Wiley, 1st down, hits the sideline, and Jared Wiley, let's see, hold your breath. All right, no flag on the play.
No flags. What a huge play there for the sophomore Jared Wiley. 6'7", 250 pounds, working on the outside, and Ehlinger threw a beautiful pass right here over the middle of the field, and they're able to get a giant conversion.
That's a gain of 52. Ehlinger, pump fake, looking, surveying, lost it. Incomplete. Brennan Eagles couldn't hold on. It was raked out of his hands by Noah Daniels.
What a play by Noah Daniels, because this was a beautifully thrown ball. Not a great route from Eagles because he's way too far to the sideline. There's not a lot of room for Ehlinger to drop this in, and he's able to do it. That is perfectly thrown, and Eagles can't bring it in because Noah Daniels starts ripping at the football right away. What an excellent defensive play.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 38. Roshan Johnson, the pistol back.
Ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under further review.
Let's take a look to see if he got control and across the goal line. He would have had to have been established as a runner, Gus, or else he's got to control that ball even going through the process of going to the ground. Certainly you can't see it there as Daniels is pulling at that ball. Here's real speed. Just never looked like he got full control of that ball.
Well, let's bring in our rules expert, Mikey Rulebooks, Mike Pereira. Mike, your thoughts?
I'm still trying to figure out that first offside in the kickoff, to tell you the truth. I'm a little behind here. Listen, I think it's incomplete. I mean, it is close to control, but you don't really get the shot that shows that he's got complete control and the element of time. Remember, it's control, a body part, and then the element of time in a football move. Here maybe becomes your best look. Little grab there, huh? So not controlled, trying to get control and being ripped away. I still say that just has to be an incomplete pass.
Listen, I agree with Mike here, and they're not going to like it here in Austin because they've already had 7 penalties go against them. They have not liked some of the calls. Some of them have been questionable. It should be noted now, these crews are not normal crews, okay, folks? And because of COVID, what they're trying to do is keep officials as local as they possibly can. So these crews are makeshift almost every single week.
After review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed.
And so these guys didn't get a full camp where they could have normally traveled around and seen practices and gotten to a rhythm. And Mike, thanks for your input, bud. Always spot on. And so they're trying to get a rhythm in this season, just as the players are, and it's difficult. And you know, we've seen some slow starts from the officials as well, and I think we're seeing that here today.
Texas has had 283 yards of plays called back, including that 96-yard kickoff return. Ehlinger, play fake, under pressure, dumps it to the sideline, and Tariq Black, the Michigan transfer, senior, in the vicinity.
They were really excited about Tariq Black and what he could potentially be, because they're looking for somebody to step up and be that star. Devin Duvernay was so good for them last year, in particular on these 3rd down situations. He had more 3rd down catches than anybody in the country, and they need to establish who that go-to guy is on these big 3rd downs.
3rd down and 10. Ehlinger steps up in the pocket, fires a strike and a 1st down. Nice throw, Tariq Black.
Good time in the pocket here, and Ehlinger doesn't panic. Watch as the pocket kind of collapses around him, and he continues to work his feet, stay patient, and allow Black to work open, and then he's able to move the chains.
So 1st down for Texas. Here's Ehlinger again. Oh, almost intercepted. Flag on the play. Trayvon Merrick. He's going to dream about that one, because it was right in his hands for an interception.
The other safety, Ardarius Washington, was in coverage on Jake Smith, number 7. And his coverage, I think, is what drew a couple of those flags there.
Pass interference, defense number 24. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic 1st down.
We saw TCU take advantage, put the ball in the end zone on their offensive play, and series, and now Texas has got to take advantage. Remember, they had that huge third down conversion. Now they get a penalty here and get the ball inside the red zone. Got to convert with points.
So first down. Ball at the 16 for UT. Johnson bounces it outside. Nice piece of running as he falls forward close to the first down marker. Noah Daniels, the junior from League City, Texas, with the stop.
Great block by number 70, Christian Jones. And this is a position for Texas that's been a bit of a rotation for them, the right tackle position. They're hoping Christian Jones, just a sophomore, can solidify the right side of that offensive line for them moving forward.
Second down and 1 at the 7. First down. It's one thing you can never question about Sam Ehlinger is his toughness. He will stick his nose right in it.
There's no doubt about it, and he's big too. He's got that size. He's 225 pounds. He's about 6'3", tough to bring down in those short yardage situations. It's the perfect call.
Roshan Johnson in the backfield. Ehlinger sprints out, sprays his shoulders, incomplete. That should have been a catch. Tariq Black looks like it went right through his hands.
There was a flag that came out late in the end zone. Surprise, surprise.
Travius Hodges Tomlinson defensively for TCU, covering Tariq Black.
There's not a lot of space there as Black was working for the pylon.
There is no foul for pass interference. It'll be second down.
So this is where Gary Patterson is hoping that tight coverage makes it difficult on Ehlinger and makes those windows smaller to throw into. Again, Ehlinger struggled against this defense a year ago. 4 interceptions. He's got a nice series going right now, and a lot of that has been because of the protection of the offensive line. And we'll see where they're able to go here. They're going to empty out the backfield here for Ehlinger. You've always got to be aware of that QB draw.
He loves to run it down here. Second down and goal from the 6. Ehlinger. Underneath. Caught. Not enough for the touchdown. Jake Smith. Oh, yes, he did get in. Looks like he was knocked back at the goal line, but they say he got in, and Texas is on the board.
Ehlinger hung in there. He was getting pressure in his face, Gus, and he's going to get Smith working from the right side of your screen. There's the pressure in his face, and he just dips back a little bit, delivers the ball, and it looks like when Smith turned towards the goal line is when he was able to break the plane, and Texas is able to answer with a touchdown.
The field of touchdown is under further review.
They'll take another look at this, but think about that series. They had the third and forever that they were able to convert after some of those flags, and even through the choppy play, Texas is able to go down here, and it looks like maybe get the ball into the end zone. Jake Smith coming back from
a
little hamstring injury, and you can tell that they've got a nice rapport there, he and Ehlinger, because he's gone to him on some critical plays. Here's another look. See as he kind of turns back. It was awfully close. Tough to tell, but the official was in great position.
Jake Smith earned the starting job as the slot in preseason, replacing Devin Duvernay, who was drafted by the Ravens in the 3rd round. I think Devin Duvernay ran a kickback for a touchdown last week on Monday night.
I mean, you call that running. I call that like lightning. Floating across the field.
After
that was
review,
crazy.
The ruling on the field of touchdown stands as called.
A good answer from Texas's offense there, and certainly a drive that they desperately needed to calm things down here in what has been a very chaotic first quarter in Austin.
So that brings on Cameron Dicker, the junior from Austin. Joel, I hear he has a pretty cool nickname. What do they call him?
Dicker, the kicker.
Extra point, and it's good. Cameron Dicker. So Texas responds. Ehlinger to Jake Smith. 7 up at Austin. Welcome back. Let's go downstairs to Jenny.
Well, unfortunately, some injury news to update you guys on for TCU. Emery DeMarcado, guys, I don't expect a return from him today. He was taken to the locker room with an unspecified illness, so they're down a running back. And as for Texas, Tyler Owens will not return. He injured his hamstring on that third opening kickoff.
All right. So that description.
Very good. Very descriptive,
Well
Jenny.
done, Jenny. Well done.
Today's game is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. One of the questions in the contest was who will win. 93% of Super 6 users chose Texas.
Well, this TCU squad has had a lot of success against Texas, in particular since moving to the Big 12. They're 6-2 against Texas since 2012, outscoring them by a combined 99 points during those meetings. So Gary Patterson and his Horned Frogs are no strangers to beating the Texas Longhorns here in recent vintage.
So a first down from the 25 for Max Duggan. DeMarque Foster in the backfield. They give it to Foster, who breaks it back, crosses the 25 up to around the 28. Overshown with the tackle. And that should take us to the end of the quarter, maybe. 8 seconds to go. 2nd and 7.
That's the problem. You try to rush to beat the clock. Listen, there's the only thing that needs to happen to this first quarter. It needs to end.
Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
We all need to turn the page on this first quarter.
Give us a second.
Let's. So.
Just one. 2nd and 11. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter with the score. TCU 7, Texas 7. Coming up, the second quarter from Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Welcome back, 7-7. Our score as TCU takes over. Sam Ehlinger finding Jake Smith for the touchdown to help Texas get on the scoreboard. Start the second quarter, 2nd down and 11. Duggan to throw it on 2nd down, and he's going deep. Duggan, oh, he dropped it in the basket to Quentin Johnston. What a throw.
Great throw. Quentin Johnson using that big frame. Again, he's 6'4" and just a true freshman, but he comes in here with immense talent. Again, the pressure is just a beat too late to get to Duggan, and it's a huge play for the Horned Frogs.
And they wind it up again, and incomplete. Tay Barber, the intended receiver this time, but there is a flag.
Chris Adamora was in coverage there, and he gets beat, and all he can do is kind of throw the hands up, and then he's making contact, not playing the football. And as he doesn't play the football there, that contact draws a flag, and TCU going down the field in a hurry here.
Defense number 1. Automatic first down.
Texas Tech did a great job of winning those battles on the outside, and again here this Texas secondary struggling. First it's the
80-44 book.
big frame Quentin Johnson, 6'4", and then they go right back the other direction, and Adamora was just out of position there. I love the aggressive play calling.
Previous play is under further review for the hit on the quarterback.
So they'll take a look at it.
See that hit on Duggan. Like I said, that pressure was awful close, and we'll see exactly. I'm sure they're going to be looking to see if it was helmet to helmet. That was Juwan Mitchell, number 6. They're going to be looking for those indicators, whether there was a launch, crown, forcible contact, head or neck area. All of that being reviewed now by our replay official, Don Capral.
It looks like he got him right under on the chin strap.
Looks like there was just this contact. See that?
Mike Herrera is with us. Rulebooks, what do you think?
Well, Rulebooks is looking at it and say, okay, you got to confirm all elements of targeting here. And, you know, we do see the lowering of the head and hitting him in the helmet. Certainly can see why Don Capral, the replay official in this game, stopped it. And, you know, we look at it and say it really does. He was attacking, and he does make contact to the helmet, so I can certainly see targeting here.
Just needs to lower that strike zone a little bit, and it's ever so close, right? I mean, if he lowers just an inch, he's probably fine, but there was what seemed to be just a touch of contact with the crown into the face mask for Duggan. Listen, I don't want to be the replay official on this one, right? I mean, you really want to make sure and confirm, like Mike said, every element of targeting, because for Juwan Mitchell, the fate of the game rests in it. You know, this is a potential disqualification, and I think it's probably by the letter of the law a targeting.
Reminds me of that Ohio State-Clemson game last year. Wade got chucked out of the game for the targeting, and it changed the entire dynamic of that semifinal.
Yeah, and that one was so, I felt like so different because Lawrence changed his position. Right here, Duggan is truly defenseless in that passing posture, and that's why, I mean, you got no room for error as a defender there, you know. So when they take this long, normally they're trying to figure out clock, and the reason is because they're going to put the flag on the field.
After reviewing the play, we have targeting, defense number 6. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down. Number 6 is disqualified from the game.
So Juwan Mitchell, with 14 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter, has been disqualified and will have to head to the locker room. His backup is Court Jaquez, a junior from San Antonio.
So we'll decline the pass interference. The ball will be half the distance.
There was a rule change this year that a disqualified player like Juwan Mitchell can stay in the bench area, so he won't have to take that walk to the sideline right now. He can at any point, obviously, if he chooses, but he can stay in the bench area with that rule change. And we are on the struggle bus right now.
Oh, we certainly are. It's the theater of the absurd.
They've got to try to figure out the enforcement here, where the spot of the ball was, where I believe half the distance goes. Should have figured that out prior. I believe this ball, if memory serves, was snapped around the 26-yard line.
Correction, the pass interference is a 15-yard penalty, which was enforced. The targeting will be declined, but number 6 is still disqualified from the game.
All right, so the 15 from the 26 makes this the correct spot. First and 10 at the 11. And Juwan Mitchell will be out, and they're not deep at linebacker. This is going to force some guys that have even changed position. David Binda is going to have to play a little bit. Adeoye, number 40, is going to have to get in there. So we'll see where Texas is able to go here in the second level. But that's the one position on their defense they were not super pleased with their depth.
First down from the 11 for TCU as we get back to live action. Foster hits a sideline and is knocked out of play inside the 5. Adeoye with the tackle.
See where TCU goes here with this one, but they love this empty formation, trying to spread everybody out, because if you spread your linebackers out too far, Duggan is athletic enough, like right now. Look at this, Gus. No linebackers there. Wouldn't be surprised if they run a little bit of a QB sneak here.
Spielman in motion. Here's the quarterback sneak partner. Touchdown TCU. Good call, Joel Klein. As the Horned Frogs punch it in again. Max Duggan.
Well, you're just forcing the defense to make a choice, and they try to spread out. So there's all this zone, too much space for Duggan, and all he's got to do is just read it, and he knows he's going to keep that ball because there's only one defender there. He's got a pulling guard in front of him. Quazell White does a great job, number 51. He gets Adeoye, number 40, blocked, and it's an easy touchdown for TCU.
Extra point up for Griffin Kell, and it's good. 14-7 TCU. Here in the second quarter, Max Duggan, the sophomore quarterback, using his legs early.
14-7 TCU here in Austin. Kind of a crazy first quarter. As we look at our team comparison, it's sponsored by Credible.com. Those rushing yards for TCU, they've been able to get it done. The offensive line has played much better, but it's really been about penalties. This game has not been clean. 8 for Texas, 6 for TCU. Still trying to find a rhythm so far here in this ballgame.
Kell sends it away. Deshaun Jameson is the deep man. He'll start from his own 1. Jameson with another lane. And Jameson, great running. Terrific job by Deshaun Jameson on the kickoff return.
Well, let's take a look at how we got here to 14-7. Pacific Life game summary sponsored by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. There was the first touchdown by Barlow of the day. Texas answered. Wild drive. There was a 3rd and forever. They converted. Ellinger to Jake Smith. And then just moments ago, it was Duggan finding the end zone. Beautiful play design. That defense spread wide open, and Duggan was able to fake that wide stretch zone, run for the touchdown, and TCU has got the 14-7 lead.
Duggan on the sideline getting stretched out. 14-7. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams are synonymous with Texas Longhorn football, the only 2 Heisman winners in the school's history. This year they decided to honor them by naming the field where they had their success after them. Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams, and Tyler Rowe. So first down for Sam Ellinger and the Texas offense. Ball placed at the 37. Looks like a busted play as Ellinger just dives forward.
TCU was certainly ready for that. They tried to use that jet sweep motion and tried to use the motion to get a linebacker out of the box, but that linebacker was the nickelback, LaKendrick Van Zant, number 20, and he was right there and ready for that play. So you cannot fool that Gary Patterson defense. They are very smart, understand identification, and they were ready.
Second down and 10 at the 37. Empty backfield for Sam Ellinger. He'll throw it. Ellinger dumps it underneath, and it's incomplete. Joshua Moore.
Looked like Moore came up limping a little bit.
It was interesting to talk to Sam Ellinger yesterday. It's almost as if he and Gary Patterson the head coach and defensive coordinator for TCU are thinking with the same brain.
Yeah.
They know each other.
Yeah, all too well. And Sam knows that these are the situations that they have to avoid, because this is when the defense is dictating the tempo and TCU can get into the perfect coverage. Here, Gary has gone to 3 defensive linemen. It looks like he's going to drop 8 guys into coverage.
3rd down and 10 at the 37. Ellinger winds up. Oh, what a throw. And a catch by Jake Smith. Ellinger put that over the outstretched arm of the defender.
Check out this outside linebacker. He's just outside, and Ellinger's got to float it just over his head, and he's able to do that. What a beautiful ball from Ellinger there. That's that drop 8 coverage, and it's something that Ellinger has struggled against during the course of his career. But right there, what a beautiful conversion on a long 3rd down again for the Longhorns.
And a timeout called by TCU.
Timeout. TCU, their first of the half.
14-7, TCU leading Texas here. 1st down and 10 at the 45 for the Longhorns. Sam Ellinger starting to find his rhythm, passing the ball. Trips at the top of your screen, Twins at the bottom. Here's Ellinger. Steps up in the pocket, delivers, caught toward the end zone. Touchdown, Longhorns. Brennan Eagles. A 45-yard touchdown, Sam Ellinger.
This is a beautiful route. Watch his Eagles is going to come. He's going to hook up, and then he's going to go deep. Right there, he hooks up, and then he goes deep. Sam Ellinger needs the time, and he gets it. Floats that ball. Great anticipation there for a huge touchdown. And that was a beautiful drive, in particular that 3rd down pass from Ellinger to move the chains. And then there, getting the time, moving up in the pocket, and delivering a beautiful ball to Eagles for a touchdown.
Dicker in for the extra point. And it's good. Texas goes on a 4-play, 63-yard drive. They score in 1 minute and 12 seconds to level this game at 14 here in Austin. Don't forget, you can find all of Joel's Breaking the Huddle content, including his weekly top 10 rankings at foxsports.com, the Fox Sports app, and CFB on Fox social platforms. Joel, what's going on with the rankings? Pac-12, Big Ten, some are in, some aren't in, some are being voted for, some aren't being voted for.
It's kind of like the game today. It's a bit of a struggle bus as far as the operation goes. We've got some voters that are including Big Ten teams and Pac-12 teams, others that are not. So they're very skewed, and we should just wait probably until we see all these teams on the field, and we'll get a better idea.
All right, well, tomorrow on Fox, it's a star-studded showdown in Big D as Baker Mayfield and the Browns take on Dak, Zeke, and the Cowboys. Or you may catch the Giants versus the Rams. Check your local listings for the game in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Looks like Baker Mayfield and the Browns are starting to find a little rhythm. Won a couple in a row. Baker, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma. 1st down and 10 at the 25. For Max Duggan. And they run the reverse. Around the corner, Zach Evans.
Oh, there he is. We finally get to see Zach Evans, the highly recruited #2 running back in the country. And TCU fans, Gus, really excited to see what he can do. He is the highest rated recruit to ever sign with Gary Patterson's TCU squad. And he's in the backfield now.
Zach Evans won 2 state titles at North Shore High School in the Houston area. Had 40 offers. LSU, Texas, Ohio State, SC. To name a few. Duggan over the middle. A nice strike to J.D. Spielman.
Beautiful, wasn't that? Spielman doing a great job working the middle of the field. You can tell he played so much football at Nebraska before the transfer. He's all Big Ten a few different times. And when you give these quarterbacks time, here's the thing. In this league, with these experienced quarterbacks, if they get time in the pocket, they will hurt you down the field. And Texas was unable to get to Duggan, and he made him pay there with a beautiful completion over the middle as Stearns is shaken up for the Longhorns.
Caden Stearns, senior from Cibolo, Texas.
And remember how decimated this secondary was a year ago. 10 different Longhorns getting playing time last year in defensive secondary, and they've switched some things up with this change in defensive philosophy under new defensive coordinator Chris Ash. Of course, Chris Ash and Tom Herman have a long history together. They were at Iowa State together when Chris was the defensive back coach and Tom Herman was the offensive coordinator. Then, of course, they were at Ohio State. They won a national championship together when Tom was the offensive coordinator, Chris was the defensive coordinator, and then Chris was most recently the head coach at Rutgers, and now finds himself with Herman again.
Duggan drops it off, and he has his tight end, Lynn. Artavius Lynn, big fella. He's 6'6", 260. With nice hands.
Yes, and he gets the most snaps for them at a tight end. And last year, he started 5 games. Every time I watch film, I just think he gets better and better and better. He gets a better feel for the game. He's decent up at the line of scrimmage like he is right now in a blocking sense. But every single game, he just gets better as a passing and receiving threat.
2nd and 7 at the 46. Duggan looking for the first down, and he has it. Right up the gut for Max Duggan. The Adeoye stops him. And it's a gain of 9.
And both of these quarterbacks are so dangerous. Maybe not in just a home run sense, but in the sense of moving the chains, keeping their offense on the field, their ability to create those first downs because of the RPO and zone read type action that these offenses can run. And it makes it very difficult on each of the defenses.
1st and 10 at the 37. Duggan again. And Duggan picks up a yard and a half, maybe 2, and he gets drilled by Overshown.
Overshown has a chance to be a great player. He's now at a more natural position. He moved from safety down to linebacker. If he puts on a little weight, he could be very good.
Weighs 217 right now. And Barlow just belted by Keandre Coburn. And, you know, they got some defensive linemen with some pretty cool names. Keandre Coburn, he's 6'2", 348. His nickname is Snacks. Tavondre Sweat is 6'4", 348. His nickname is Big Lunch.
Well, this is a down that those big fellas got to eat then. Get the snacks out, get the big lunch out. You got to get pressure on Duggan right now.
3rd down and 10 at the 37 for TCU. DeMarque Foster in the backfield with Duggan. Here's Duggan. Scrambling. And throws it out of play. Good pressure by Texas.
They run a little stunt up front, and they're trying to get Osai open by creating this type of pick play, and they do a beautiful job because Duggan's got to leave the pocket, and then he's got nowhere to go with the football. So a nice design there by Chris Ash. He knows that Joseph Osai is his best pass rusher, so he ran a concept to try to free him up and get a free run at the quarterback, and he was able to do so.
Jordy Sandy will punt it away close to the 50. Jamison is the deep man. And it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. 9:47 to play, 2nd quarter, 14-14. Texas, TCU. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Allstate. Get better protected with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. All right, go ahead and say it. I know you like to say it.
Well, they've got a whole section of just Matthew McConaughey characters, but there's only one that Woody Wooderson. All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. He's not at the game today.
He is in spirit.
That's right. I'm sure he's somewhere trying to watch his Longhorns. Matthew McConaughey, what a nice man. I had a chance to meet him once.
Jenny, what's his best character?
I mean, how do we even debate this, how to lose a guy in 10 days. You know, I mean, it's classic rom-com. I've met him too, guys. So you know the first thing you want to talk about? Football.
That's right. He loves his Longhorns. First down and 10 for Texas. And Johnson, the converted quarterback. Nice piece of running here. He'll gain about 8 yards, maybe 9. Darius Washington with the tackle.
Remember last year their running back position was decimated. He had to move over, and he established himself as a really good player, and now he finds himself with Ingram out getting the bulk of the carries.
Johnson looking for the first down, and he'll be tackled for a loss. Well defended. D. Winters, the middle linebacker, in on the play.
Texas has got to change it up when they go with tempo. They just continue to hand the ball off. TCU's been ready for it.
Ellinger running it now, right side, and he uses that 225-pound frame to plow forward and pick up a first down. Corey Bethley, number 94, the senior, with the tackle.
What Gary Patterson does best is that he attacks your tendencies, Gus. And he understands that there are tendencies that Texas has had, in particular in the past, and maybe even here after 2 games, when they go with tempo, is it simple running plays. And he will teach his kids to attack those tendencies. And it looks like the tempo is all run for Texas, and TCU has been ready for it.
First down. Here's Ellinger. On the move, and Jake Smith just couldn't haul it in. Jake Smith's had a solid first half, though.
Sure has, and they've been happy to get him back. But that was great coverage there by Trayvon Merrick. And he's one of those really good safeties. I think as a tandem, these safeties, Trayvon Merrick and Darius Washington, are probably the 2 best in the country. And it's got to be disconcerting if you're a quarterback and you're experienced and you understand what you're looking at. For Sam Ellinger to look up and he sees these 2 guys. They are prepared, they're smart, they're instinctive, and Ellinger's got to know where they're at all times.
Second down and 10 at the 31, and it's Ingram, and he gets belted. Wow. O'Shawn Mathis.
Boy, it's been a different day so far today for this TCU run defense. Remember, Breece Hall ran all over him on a couple of big runs last week, and Mathis did a great job there at end, kept his outside arm free, shed the block, and then was able to get in the backfield and make the play. And here's another situation where Texas is in a long third down situation.
3rd and 12. They motion Ingram out of the backfield as a receiver. Ellinger needs to get to the 41. Winds up the deep ball. Incomplete. No flag. Eagles was the receiver. Van Zandt in coverage.
Well, I didn't see them signal that they thought it was uncatchable. If they think that this is just incidental or Eagles is looking for the flag. Candidly, I was looking for the flag immediately when I saw that amount of contact, and Van Zandt was laying on the field like he expected it as well.
So 4th down and 12. Texas will punt. J.D. Spielman ready to return. And a timeout call by the Longhorns.
Texas.
14-14, 7:44 to play in the second quarter. TCU and Texas. TCU opened up Big 12 play last week, losing at home to Iowa State. Texas opened up Big 12 play last week, winning on the road in overtime against the Red Raiders. Kuchevsky. Spielman backpedaling, fields it at the 19. Looking for a crease and will not get it. Terrific special teams work for the Longhorns as he is wrapped up at the 21 by Kenyatta Watson. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Help keep kids in the game by texting PLAY to the number on your screen. That's PLAY to donate today.
Well, on the last series, TCU found a nice rhythm running the football, and part of that was Duggan running it himself. So we'll see if Texas can adjust and maybe add a defender to the run box to account for the quarterback run.
Kendra Miller is checked in at running back for TCU. And they'll hand it to him on first down. Remember, DeMercado has gone out because of an injury. He's their lead back. So now Barlow and Miller, along with a little bit of Zach Evans, the freshman, are sharing the football for Gary Patterson.
All freshmen left. A couple of red shirt, a couple of true in the backfield for TCU.
Miller remains in the game. Here's the reverse. Barber cuts it back and picks up positive yardage. As he goes down, Keandre Coburn snacks with the tackle, and he ate there.
Court Jacques, number 57, he had an opportunity to make that play right at the line of scrimmage. He's in right now because Juwan Mitchell was ejected for target.
Barber with running room, and he'll get down the sideline and pick up a bunch. Benda giving chase and knocks him out of play. That's a gain of 17 yards.
And beautiful design. They lined Barber up in the backfield, Gus, and so he was one-on-one with Benda, who was on the opposite side of the ball at linebacker. And in man coverage, he could just never catch up. So a beautiful design there with a bunch set, bringing those wide receivers closer to the football by Sonny Cumbie, the offensive coordinator, and big game.
First down to the 46-yard line. Kendra Miller, the pistol back. They give it to him. He crosses the line of scrimmage the hard way. Osai, as well as Benda, combining.
If I was TCU, I see that these linebackers, they're working on the depth of these linebackers now with Juwan Mitchell out, and they're trying to create things with Tay Barber to get him the ball creatively and match him up against these linebackers. So watch for that to be a more consistent part of their game plan here moving forward, again with Mitchell out.
2nd and 7 at the 49. Duggan. They lean forward. Duggan looking for that first down. Jacoby Jones, the senior, St. Louis, Missouri, with the tackle.
So here you're going to get the motion, and then watch as you're going to get a little bit of a flow out of the linebacker. And what does that do? It opens up just a little bit of a seam for the quarterback run. They're using Barber and his speed to really attack these linebackers for the Longhorns, and it's been very effective so far.
Remember, middle linebacker Juwan Mitchell was ejected for targeting. 3rd and 2 at the 46. Duggan handing the ball off to Foster. First down. TCU. But there is a flag.
Holding. Offense, number 56. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
That's Austin Myers.
Myers, the left tackle. Patterson doesn't like it. Myers, 6'5", 290 pounds. He's one of these seniors, did start 4 games. Here he is right here. He tries to work outside. Now he's working on the outside linebacker. Just gets his hands a little bit too far outside and drags him down to the ground. Big down here for Texas. I expect them to try to blitz. They've been blitzing on 3rd down and getting some decent pressure on Duggan. They can't allow him to just sit in the pocket, because if he does, he'll pick them apart.
They need 12. Duggan. Deep ball's got a receiver. Oh, my goodness. Quentin Johnson. He couldn't hold on. But there is a flag.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 46. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Jalen Green somehow managed to knock that ball out of Johnston's hands.
He was going for the one-handed play, and there's that blow to the head. It was Osai again with the pressure that was just oh so close, and that was almost a giant play for Quentin Johnson. You can see his talent. He gets separation. He's got great speed. He's got great length. And that one was almost a gigantic play for the Horned Frogs.
First down at the 40-yard line. Miller and Foster in the backfield. Duggan under pressure, got it away. And incomplete. Foster out of bounds, and Duggan goes down hard.
He got absolutely walloped. Now they're going to bring the pressure out of the second level here, and this is where it's going to come from Duggan's left, and it's just, he gets hit right in the hip. Josh Thompson, number 9, was in on that pressure, and he just had to basically throw the ball away.
And I remember you told me for quarterbacks the next day they feel it in their rib cage.
Yeah, that's all. It's just the front of your neck, your ribs. It's just, it's not fun. Sundays are not a fun day.
2nd and 10. Duggan wants to run it. Breaks contain. Duggan looking for the first down, and he will not get it. Nice open field tackle. Chris Brown denied Max Duggan the first down.
Good pressure again. They had pressure right in his face. Taquan Graham was there basically unblocked, and Brown has to save the first down, create this 3rd and short, but Duggan did a great job. Right after he got popped and was slow to get up, he's able to elude the rush and get down the field.
3rd and 1. They hand it off to Miller. First down and more. Kendra Miller finally taken down by Caden Stearns. But Miller picks up 12.
How about Artavius Lynn? I told you about his blocking the tight end. He just mashed all that whole side down, opened up that lane for a first down TCU.
From the 19. Miller. Shifty. Jacoby Jones with another tackle.
They just keep running towards that tight end, and Artavius Lynn, number 88, guys, he's owning the line of scrimmage right now. He's done a heck of a job, and he's not in the ball game right here, so they're going to go in a different direction. But this offensive line did not play well a week ago, and they're certainly playing much better here today, opening up running lanes for this run game.
TCU with 250 yards of offense after the 6-yard pickup by Miller. 2nd and 4. Duggan drops it off. First down. Barber. As Stearns hauls him down.
Smart play, right? Just going for the sticks. Barber understands to run that just past the line to gain. Duggan gets the ball out quickly, and Stearns, who was trying to break on that quickly, could not get it done. Here's the rushing comparison. TCU certainly winning this 5.3 yards per carry, over 100 yards so far, already 2 touchdowns. This offensive line doing a heck of a job. And like I said, they were not good a week ago. Patterson knew that they had to get much better, and they certainly have.
First down and goal. 1:52 remaining. Miller. And Miller knocked backwards by that Texas defense. Broughton, freshman from Houston, with the stop.
Now Tom Herman's going to take a timeout, try to save some of this time for his offense before the end of the half.
Okay, in the meantime, let's check in with Rob Stone and the guys in the studio.
All right, Gus, thank you. And coming up on the State Farm halftime, Kyle Trask in 3rd-ranked Florida. They look to build on their hot start. More SEC activity. Number 21, Tennessee. They look for their 8th straight win. Plus, in the Big 12, Baylor, West Virginia in a tight one. Joel, Gus, we'll see you guys in a couple minutes, assuming there's not another 15 or 18 penalties.
Well, at least I let Reggie get a little extra snap on the set.
You
like
saw
last
that?
week.
You saw that last week?
I saw that. That was terrible. They got my man.
Oh, man, we need to bring back Bush League just for that.
That's
just
right.
for Reggie.
That was Bush League.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Coach, how'd you allow that? Coach, you allowed that on your watch.
That's right. Urban Meyer slipping. 14-14, 1:45 to go in the second quarter. TCU, 2nd and goal at the 8. for Max Duggan. Empty backfield, trips up top, twins at the bottom. Now Spielman in motion. They give it to him. Here comes a scat back, tries to break it back. Nothing doing. Jaquez in for, remember, Jawan Mitchell, who was ejected for targeting. And Court Jaquez comes up and makes a terrific open field tackle.
And Texas going to call another timeout, trying to save some time for their offense. Beautiful tackle by Jaquez, 14 up here in Austin.
Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium, opened in 1924. Capacity 100,119, down to 95,000 due to the South End Zone construction project. But it will increase again when the project is finished prior to 2021. Largest stadium in the Big 12, 8th largest stadium in the United States, 9th largest stadium in the world. Third down and goal at the 10. For Max Duggan and the TCU Horned Frogs. Duggan wants to run it, steps back, reverses, and dumps it. Texas not fooled by that play at all. Overshown. And Jaquez right in Duggan's face.
Watch this. Overshown actually falls down, and then he gets up. He slips right there, and then he gets up, and he finds himself right there for the pressure and leaps towards Duggan to force this kicking opportunity for TCU. That's a big stop for Texas there, in particular after those 2 timeouts trying to get the ball back for their offense.
So Griffin Kell comes in to attempt the field goal. 28-yarder. Got it up. And good. So TCU goes back in front. No matter where you're watching from this season, we're celebrating fans everywhere, celebrating Fansville. Sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Those timeouts certainly save some time for Sam Ehlinger in this offense to potentially go down the field.
Jamison is a deep man, and he'll take a knee in the end zone for the touchback. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Coach Meyer are standing by for the State Farm halftime show. Or maybe they'll wake them up to.
You're gonna.
Well, I'm gonna kill them for that.
You're getting them.
That's right. That's fun.
No sleeping in class.
No.
All right, so here we go. We got 128. 2 really good safeties. Ehlinger has got to be careful with the football. You got to understand what coverage they're in at all times. You can work any part of the field, but you really want to get this ball past the first down marker if you're going to throw it across the middle.
First down at the 25. Ehlinger. Oh, and it's intercepted by TCU. Van Zandt. He's got blockers up the sideline and down at the 5. LaKendrick Van Zandt squatted in space, and the ball came right to him.
Well, he's trying to find Joshua Moore. Joshua Moore has not had a catch today, and Moore is one-on-one with Van Zandt. Moore looks like he's going to go across his face right here, but actually turns it back up and goes to the outside right when Ehlinger throws. Right there, he goes to the outside, and Van Zandt just steps across his face. So
ruling on the field is an interception by TCU. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 20 of TCU. It'll be half the distance to the goal. 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down TCU. That's number 20's first unsportsmanlike of the game.
So that miscommunication between Moore and Ehlinger hurts him badly. Van Zandt with a beautiful interception. He's right where he needed to be. And there you see he kind of stood up and gives a bit of a taunt and a shove. I believe that was Cade Brewer under the pile there, and that's what drew the flag. We'll back him up 15. But Moore never looked back, and it looked like Ehlinger wanted him to cross the face. That's just a poor communication by Texas, and it's been a sloppy half by Texas. They've overcome a couple of different times due to some long third down plays or some big plays that they've gotten, including that 45-yard touchdown to Eagles. But for the most part, it's just been a really sloppy half from Texas, and now TCU's got a chance to create a big lead here going in at half.
So TCU with 1 minute and 16 seconds remaining. The Horned Frogs taking over at the Texas 20-yard line after the interception, up 17-14. Duggan finds Barber on the sideline, and he'll get an opportunity to run after the catch, knocked out of bounds around the 15 by Josh Thompson.
One of the reasons Texas was even in position to win last week is because after some huge miscues, including an interception, a blocked punt, all sorts of different things, they were able to bow their neck and get stops. A couple of them that got interceptions. We'll see if they're able to do that here after a bad mistake from the passing game and Ellinger throwing that pick to Van Zandt. But they're going to go this empty backfield. This has paid off for them. Watch for the motion back into the backfield, potentially to get those linebackers moving.
Max Duggan delivers, and a little high for Spielman.
Well, big third down here. TCU would certainly love to pay this off after the huge play from their defense and try to get into the end zone. And Texas with a great opportunity to force a field goal here. They just forced TCU to kick it, and TCU has struggled. They struggled last year converting red zone trips into touchdowns, and we'll see if they can move the chains here. They were only just above 50%. It's 56% converting red zone trips into touchdowns, and so far today they've struggled a little bit as well.
Third down, 5 yards to go at the 15. Duggan lofts one in the corner and incomplete. His receiver tripped coming out of his route. Dangerous play. Jalen Green almost picked it off. Savion Williams, the freshman, was the intended receiver.
And that was a good matchup because Williams is 6'5". Jalen Green, while tall for a corner, is 6'1". So he's given up a lot of size right there. But you see he just fell down. A great no flag. And Jalen Green was just unable to stop and get back to that ball and potentially pick it off.
Griffin Kell in to attempt a 32-yard field goal. Yeah. Perfect. So TCU makes it a 20-14 game. (20-14) TCU looking for their first win of the season after losing their season opener last week at home to Iowa State. On top of Texas, on the road. They capitalize on the interception, scoring 3 points. Kell sent it away. Deshaun Jameson is the deep man. They don't take a knee. With 55 seconds to go.
You've got a decision to make if you're Texas and you're Tom Herman. I think that's a lot of time, and I think you let Sam Ellinger in this offense try to go down and get you some points, even with no timeouts. Tom Herman is an offensive guy. I know he trusts his quarterback. I think what you would probably see right here, maybe some sort of safer play call, hoping to pop something like a screen pass or a wide receiver screen. And if you pop it and get some good yardage here, then you get into tempo and try to get down the field. But a lot of it depends on this first down snap.
And Ellinger hands it off. Ingram. So Texas will play it safe. Head into the locker room, trailing 20-14. Winters and Van Zandt.
Because I think if this is a different defense, they're trying to go down the field. But Herman and Sam Ellinger are a little bit stung by this TCU team. TCU has not backed down from this Texas squad, and they've had a great history against them. Ellinger struggled against them last year. That last series, he throws an interception, and now they're just going to try to play it safe.
They'll run it again with Ingram. And that will take us to the end of the first half. Duggan, 12 of 19, 144 yards passing in that first half for TCU. And the Horned Frogs lead it 20-14. Time now for Rob Stone and the guys with the State Farm halftime show. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. We're ready for the second half. TCU leading on the road 20-14. Gus Johnson along with Joel Clatton, partner. That was a sloppy first half for both teams.
It was, and it was back and forth, and credit Texas's defense for answering late, but really it got started there in the second half. Connection brought to you by AT&T Business on that run play from TCU and the run game for TCU, keeping your business connected now with 5G nationwide. There's the first touchdown. Here's a nice little pick play that Texas is able to run to get Smith open for one of their touchdowns, so they were able to answer, and back and forth we went. TCU comes down. Duggan finds himself into the end zone, and TCU did a great job of running the football, but Ellinger did answer a big play for a touchdown to Eagles, and it looked like it was going to be a tie ball game. Maybe even Texas had a chance to take the lead, and then that late interception, and all of a sudden it's 6-point lead for TCU, and they had to be very happy with the way that they played in the first half, in particular up front on their offensive line. Their run game did a great job, 114 yards, 4.8 per carry running the football. Texas only 31 yards on the ground, 2.4 per carry, so that's certainly, it's got to change for Texas if they want to come back, and TCU's just going to continue to let that offensive line eat.
So TCU will get the ball to start the second half. And this one kicked out of the end zone before a touchback. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny Taft.
Well, you guys alluded to it, but yeah, it was a weird first half for both teams. But really, the message from Coach Herman was about relaxing in the locker room, and he told his guys, TCU isn't beating you. Texas is right now. He said too often in that first half, he saw guys looking over, confused, and he had to kind of encourage his guys, you know this, you're good, relax, take a deep breath, let that run game get going, and trust it, and then let it build gradually. The message from Gary Patterson was all about encouraging his defense to continue to disrupt. Sam Allinger, he said, no more big plays, guys. And as for Max, he said, hey, he's been solid. We're going to keep running it.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. So the Horned Frogs under Gary Patterson leading it 20-14. And I think a lot of times, Joel, Gary Patterson doesn't get as much credit as he deserves as one of the fine coaches in the United States.
Yeah, and they had that unbelievable stretch where they were basically top 10 in the country. They finished top 10 in the country 3 out of 4 seasons from 14 to 17. They've fallen on a bit of a poor stretch of late, but a lot of that has been due to the fact that they haven't been able to solidify the quarterback position, and they seem to have found their guy now with Max Duggan.
So Miller on first down with the huge gain. Remember, Gary Patterson, folks, he was the National Coach of the Year twice, in 2009 and in 2014. What a job he's done. 11 bowl wins during his time. And some heck of a players. First down at the 45 after the 15-yard gain.
Texas has got a player down. That's another one of their linebackers. This is DeMarvion Overshone, who's down. Juwan Mitchell, their other starting linebacker, was ejected for targeting earlier in this game. Now Overshone down, and they are quickly losing their linebackers at a position where they didn't have a ton of depth to begin with. Overshone moving from safety down to linebacker. He's 6'4". He's only 217 pounds, so he's going to need to fill out a little bit. But he's got all the length, athleticism, and ability to be a really good player on the interior. See how he's kind of reaching out, and then, oh, man.
Wow.
His own teammate gets him.
But he gets off and walks off the field on his own. First down, TCU at the 45 after a pickup of 15. Miller motions into the backfield. Duggan gives it to him with a big opening. Miller finally upended at the Texas 25 by Chris Brown.
Check out this block right here. You're going to get the center and the guard, and they're going to just work this double team. And this movement, boom, that movement allows them to get up to the second level, get a hat on a hat at the linebacker position, and it's a big run.
And Duggan to the sideline, flag on the play. Blair Conright with the reception.
Holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
There's Andrew Coker up at the top of your screen. He's the right tackle. That's who they're going to get. Really good rush on the outside, and he's got that right arm wrapped around. Moro Ojimo, the sophomore from Katy. Nice rush on the outside, forcing that holding call. Backs TCU up.
1st and 20 at the 37. Miller. And he'll go nowhere. Tackle for a loss in the backfield. Nicely done. And that's Tyquan Graham.
Boy, that hold could be costly, right? Because now you're way behind the chains. They might be in field goal range right now with Kell, but I think that they've got to gain some more positive yards. And if you're a quarterback and you're experienced like Duggan is, that's what I think he should be thinking about is, all right, how do we make sure that we can get some positive yards here to make this a more manageable field goal opportunity?
Interesting formation.
Wide sets, wide splits by those offensive linemen. Watch out for that quarterback draw.
Mike Leach will be proud. They fire it out to Barber.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Why would you spread the defense out only to throw it to the outside? They used that set last week, but they used it really well by running on the interior of the defense. They spread the defensive line out for Iowa State and then gained some positive yards running the football. They use that set again here, but then they throw it out there. All you've done is spread the defense out. Now they've got to gain, I don't know, 4 or 5 yards to make this a more manageable field goal try.
3rd and 17 at the 34. Duggan taking his time. And they'll run it with Barlow. Not a lot. Snacks Coburn with the tackle.
Well, that's exactly what they were playing for is that field goal. And the reason is Kell's career long is 52. If they wouldn't have gained any yardage, it would have been about a 51-yard attempt. So Gary elects to just move the football forward a little bit to make this an easier attempt for Griffin Kell.
And that 52-yard field goal came last year against this Texas team. A 48-yard try. Oh, he had some English on that one. It's good. How about this? Griffin Kell. A 48-yard field goal. TCU 23-14. Big Noon Saturday is presented by AT&T Business, keeping your business connected. Now with 5G nationwide. And it's sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Welcome back as the Horned Frogs prepare to send the football away. Deshaun Jamison back deep for the Texas Longhorns. Griffin Kell, who just kicked the 48-yarder, will kick it off. So Texas will get a shot, and this one out of the end zone. Today's game is featured on the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. One of the questions in the contest was how many points will be scored in the second half. The most popular choice was between 15 and 21 points. Sam Ehlinger back on the field. First time here in the second half. 5 of 16, 133 yards passing in that first half. 2 touchdowns and an interception.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 33 of the receiving team. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal. First down.
Another miscue, and that was what the first half was filled with. This was almost a return, kickoff return for a touchdown by Jamison. That one got called back. Ingram with a long pass out of the backfield. That one got called back. This was late in the half, the interception by Ellinger, and this is not even considering all of the penalties. And now Gus, Texas, barely into the third quarter, 11 penalties for 87 yards so far. And now, again, backed up inside their own 15.
First down for Ellinger at his own 13. Here's Ellinger to throw it. Underneath, drops it off. Jake Smith, nice grab, picks up some positive yardage, and he's stopped by Washington.
I think that they've got to run the football, and each of them said, Gary Patterson said, we want to make this a drop-back throwing game. Texas said, we can't sit here and just have a drop-back throwing game. So, I mean, they're all on the same page. They got to get the run game going if they want to succeed here in this second half.
And they run it this time with Keontae Ingram. He stopped by Cooper.
This defense makes it so difficult on the quarterback, and Gus, the reason is they play either quarters or man coverage. Quarters, from a quarterback's perspective, basically is man. They're catching, and then they run and make tight window throws, and you've got to be deadly accurate against this defense to have success.
Sam Ellinger. He can run it, and he does. Picks up the first and much more. Ellinger hits the sideline, still on his feet. High step, and look at Sam Ellinger. I'll do it myself.
Great vision. He steps up in the pocket, and then he sees the green grass, and he's absolutely out of there. Steps out of that tackle from Washington, gains more yardage down the rail, and now again another big play for Texas, setting them up here offensively.
First down, Ellinger. Looking strong in the pocket. First down, Jake Smith. I think Sam Ellinger's gotten a little quicker since he got to Texas.
I tell you,
he was moving.
He was trying. We know he's a truck, right? I mean, so he needs to get it into that fourth gear, get it up there, and then get going. Normally so good in the short yardage, and another flag on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, would you say that Sam Ellinger is prototype Urban Meyer type quarterback?
Oh yeah, Urban would have loved coaching Sam Ellinger. There's no doubt about it.
He coached a kid somewhere in Florida that was pretty good, right?
Oof. Tim Tebow, maybe the best college quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Sideline interference against the TCU bench. Penalty be 15 yards to the end of the run. First down.
All right, look all the way up at the top of your screen. The play is coming to an end, and as the official is trying to run up and spot it, Gary Patterson's walking out on the field, and see how he knocked the official down to the ground right there, and that's what draws the flag. Gary coaches basically from on the field. I don't think that there's a coach in America that is further out onto the field on a more consistent basis than Gary Patterson.
Here's Ingram on 1st and 10 at the TCU 15.
Trying to establish a little of that run game. This defense has been so good, though. They have been stout up front. They've got Bethley in there, Corey Bethley. They got Terrell Cooper back. I told you about that to begin this game. And Parker Workman, number 40. He's certainly a guy that's helped them out against the run today as well.
2nd and 7 from the 12. Ellinger. Here comes a blitz. Ellinger reverses. Buys time and throws it low. Black, closest man to the football.
And Daniels had the free run. Noah Daniels, the left corner, looked like he had a free run at Ellinger until Ellinger kind of spun out of there and avoided it and ultimately threw that ball away. But just as Texas's defense has been able to force field goal opportunities here inside the red zone in the last 3 possessions, now TCU's got the chance to get out of here with maybe just 3 on the board for Texas. This would be a big win here after a couple of those big plays and the penalty on their coach.
3rd down and 7 from the 12. Sam Ellinger. Off his back foot, low and incomplete. Black again, the target. And that'll force 4th down. And here comes the field goal team.
Black's trying to come back to that ball, and it looks like it was just underthrown a touch because there was pressure right in Ellinger's face, and TCU is able to get off the field, forcing this field goal opportunity. Great job by them, in particular after that penalty. Looked like Texas had some rhythm, Gus, and they were able to hold on and force this field goal.
So Cameron Dicker in to attempt a field goal. This one from 29 yards away, and offside will be called against the Horned Frogs. Gary Patterson not
Offside.
happy.
Defense, number 20, unabated. 5-yard penalty.
I think he's going to go for it. I think Tom Herman's going to wave his offense back on the field. But he better do it quickly, right? Because you're going to have them set the ball, and now they're going to wave their offense back on the field. Ellinger's great in the short yardage. They felt good about their offensive line, even though they have not run the football very well today. But these are the types of situations you just got to be aware of the play clock as a quarterback, because you're not normally in these situations where you're getting the entire offense back on the field. And they haven't started it yet. Looks like they'll be in fine shape here for this 4th down opportunity.
So Rashawn Johnson comes in at running back with Ellinger. 4th and 2. Ellinger is a tank.
Yeah, got to run it with Ellinger.
Throws it out wide. Johnson cuts it back. Johnson, touchdown, Texas.
TCU never adjusted to the motion. They didn't kick out over there. There was 2 men on the wide receivers up top, and as they motioned the running back out, nobody went with them. So they had 2 guys to block. They just needed the 1st down, and then it was all effort from Rashawn Johnson. Gets himself into the end zone. Beautiful job. Good call by Tom Herman there to go for it there on the 4th and short after the huge mistake from TCU, jumping offside on a field goal opportunity, and it turns into a touchdown for the Longhorns.
3rd touchdown of the season for Rashawn Johnson. That's his first receiving touchdown. Extra point is good. Texas right back at it. 23-21 as we start the 2nd half. Want more stats? Just ask Siri. Who leads college football in passing touchdowns? And welcome back. Gus Johnson, along with Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft, with you from Austin, Texas. And with that touchdown, Sam Ellinger has made a little bit of school history.
Yeah, and when you do that at Texas, it's pretty impressive. 13 touchdown passes now so far through the first 3 games. Got a lot of time left in this one to add to that total, but that's the most in a 3-game span in Texas football history.
He's thrown 3 touchdown passes today as Cameron Dicker just booms this one out of the back of the end zone. As you take a look, Sam Ellinger.
Anytime you pass Colt McCoy, who played at an extremely high level for better part of 4 years, you're doing something. McCoy had 12 over a 3-game span. Sims had 12 over a 3-game span, and who knows, she may add to that. There's Colt McCoy, great career from 05 to 2009. I think everybody in Austin that is a Texas fan, they wonder what might have been had he not gotten injured in that national championship game against Alabama.
1st down to the 25. Here's the reverse. Davis with a blocker in front of him. A nice lane as he dives forward to the 45. B.J. Foster trips him up. Darius Davis. And there's an injured player. It's Foster who made the tackle.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Offense number 79. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. replay first down.
This is Avila, the center, and he's peeling back, and he's going to come back, and he's going to block number 40. That's Ayodele Adeoye right there, back towards his own end zone, kind of in the back right here. And then Foster is the one that's trailing the ball carrier and kind of jumps in from behind. It looked like he was looking at that right wrist, hand, forearm area. He's a backup safety for this Texas team, was highly recruited, missed 4 games last year with an injury. There was some controversy about whether he reportedly quit the team during the UTEP game or did not quit the team during the UTEP game, but said they would handle that in-house, and he's here playing against TCU.
First down and 21 from the 14. Evans, the freshman. Devondre Sweat, Ajomo combining on the tackle.
Another one of these penalties just backing TCU up. Just mistake after mistake after mistake out here.
False start. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Man, neither of these coaches are going to be happy with the way that their team executed. And now TCU has passed Texas in the penalty department. 13 penalties for TCU.
Where do coaches want to keep the penalties? You know you don't want any, but I mean, what's a number?
Yeah, 0, right? I mean, that's the obvious answer, but you know you're going to have, 2 or 3 just effort style penalties that you're not going to be able to avoid.
Evans, make that Duggan on the quarterback keeper.
I think to answer your question, I think a well-played game, you're probably going to end up with between 4 and 6 penalties. You're going to have a hold here or there, and as a coach, you kind of live with that. But these type of penalties, mental mistakes, lining up wrong, those types of things are going to drive you absolutely crazy as a coach.
Third down and 17 for TCU. At their own 18-yard line. Texas with a chance to get off the field right now. Duggan drops it off in the flats. Barlow. And he will not pick up the first down. And the Horned Frogs will punt it away, leading 23-21.
Think about the last 3 possessions we've had for TCU. They had a quality drive, then take that holding call. It backs them up. They've got to settle for a field goal before they have. Gus, they got the interception. It would have been 1st and goal inside the 5. Kind of a taunting penalty, backs them up 15, have to settle for a field goal. Here, first down, get backed up way back. You can't move the chains. Now you're going to have to punt it away. So TCU's mistake starting to mount up. And big reason why Texas has been able to hang with them here and only down 2.
Jordy Sandy punting from his own 11. Deshaun Jamison may get a shot here. This one angled toward the far side. Jamison allows it to go over his head, and it dies inside the 25. Texas down, but with the football, the momentum may be shifting a bit. We'll see when we come back. (23-21) TCU leading, but Texas with the football. And tell you what, Sam Ehlinger, he's been playing a lot of football at Texas since his freshman year, and he's turning out to be he has turned out to be one of the great leaders in Texas football history. Love the way this kid competes, rallies his teammates. He's faced adversity as a young man. 1st and 10 at the 23. And Ehlinger fires incomplete. For more on Sam Ehlinger and his leadership, let's go downstairs to Jenny.
And you mentioned the journey, Gus. Well, senior center Derek Kerstetter, he's been on that journey with Sam throughout these last couple years, and we caught up earlier this week, and he pointed to last weekend. Obviously, we talked about the comeback, guys, but he said that was all Sam. He gave a speech. He said, we're going to tie it up, we're going to win in overtime, and all of us, every single person on the sideline, we believed him. And the other thing about Sam and his leadership, he said it's never just about himself. It's about the O-line. He thanks everyone. His leadership qualities, his intangibles, important for this group.
Nice. 2nd and 10 at the 23. I love the video of Sam when he was a baby, and he knew what was going to happen back then. He said, I'm going to be the starting quarterback at the University of Texas over the middle. Jake Smith, he's got a nice weapon with the sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. Josh Foster with the tackle.
And this is the type of game that leadership becomes very important, because you've got to settle down the offense, you've got to settle down your team, and you've got to execute, and you've got to play well. He made the big mistake late in the first half with that interception, and he just needs to come back and methodically try to move his team down the field. It's tough, though, tough sledding against this defense. This defense has provided some very tight windows in the passing game for Ehlinger to try to fit the ball into.
3rd down and 4. Rashawn Johnston motions out of the backfield as a receiver. Ehlinger, will he draw it here? No, he's going to throw it. Ehlinger over the middle. Oh, and dropped by Jake Smith. Surefire 1st down. Now Texas has to send it away.
They ran this play for a touchdown earlier. Now they just flip sides and they go the opposite direction. You're going to get 2 crossing routes there, and you've got wide open space going that direction. He's going to run forever as far as he wants to. Maybe score on that play if he just catches it, and he just took his eye off of it too soon, and Texas has to punt it away. It's the perfect play call. They executed it perfectly, and still Buchevsky's on the field to punt it away.
As my high school coach would say, hit you in the worst place possible.
The hands.
That's right. Buchevsky, Spielman looking to return. Spielman makes the first man miss, makes the second man miss, and finally goes out of bounds close to the 40. Start next Saturday off strong with a special Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Number 9 Texas battles number 18 Oklahoma in the Red River Showdown. The latest chapter of this epic rivalry features rising star Spencer Rattler taking on Sam Ehlinger. It all starts with Big Noon kickoff at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then it's the AT&T Red River Showdown next Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Looking for an exciting one next week, there's no doubt, but both of these clubs are going to have their handful. Oklahoma tonight up at Iowa State.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough one, in particular with the way that they lost against Kansas State last week when we were there in Norman. And the Longhorns have their hands full here with a TCU squad that is playing much more motivated and much tougher on the offensive line. If they could get out of their own way as far as penalty goes, they would have a nice little lead here.
1st down to the 41 for Duggan. Here's Max. Max up. Thought about it, and will be tackled at the line of scrimmage. Nobody home. Overshown back in the game for Texas after going out with an injury.
And you see the closing speed that Overshown has. He's got that defensive back speed, and he showed it off there.
Love that name, Overshown.
I know. He's going to be a really, really good player. He just needs to develop physically, like I've said before. And I think he's certainly in the right position. He's got the right coaching staff. Chris Ash is a heck of a fundamental defensive coach, and I think that'll pay off in the long run.
2nd and 10 at the 41. Miller. And you mentioned the toughness of TCU. They kind of remind me of Kansas State, because I love that word, toughness. This TCU team, just like Kansas State, no matter what kind of talent they have, they play rough. Here's Duggan. Oh, and he's hit from behind. Loose ball. Texas says they have it. And they do. Texas forcing a turnover.
Great rush from Joseph Osai. He's been close a lot today. Here he is on the edge, and he's just going to get all the way around that tackle, and he's going to get to the football. A little bit of a sandwich there from the opposite side, and then they're able to recover it down below. And this defense has done a heck of a job. With all the mistakes, with how long they've been on the field, even with TCU's ability to run the football in the first half, what they've done is they've forced field goal opportunities when they've gotten into the red zone, and now come up with a huge turnover to give their offense a short field. That's exactly what they needed on that side of the ball, and it's been close. It's been very close as far as the pressure has gone. Doug has had to get rid of the ball a little sooner than he's wanted to several times, and finally they get home and finally get the sack that they desperately needed.
So the Longhorns take over at the TCU 36, 1st down. Ingram in motion. Ehlinger. All day to throw it. Now ducks it down to Ingram, and he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Leading the way, LaKendrick Van Zandt.
I love the changeup. Watch the changeup in coverage. Normally they run a lot of man coverage, man concepts, but here they kind of catch, and then they're sitting in zone. There was nowhere to go for Ehlinger.
Ehlinger, play fake, over the middle, caught! Woodard. On 2nd and 11, he gets 28 yards. Alvante Woodard, sophomore from Houston.
And another breakdown in coverage. We see this defense, they play well for about 9 out of 10 snaps, and then all of a sudden there'll be a breakdown and there'll be a big play. And the officials again are going to stop and have a conference about something.
And when you're playing against a Gary Patterson type defense, especially
ineligible player downfield, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Real late call right there. Okay, so 70, he's your right tackle, Christian Jones, right there. And he goes down, and he's about, boy, that's awful close. I guess he's about, 3.5 yards, I would say. He's looking back. Normally, you don't see that called unless they're headed downfield trying to get run blocks like that in a disguising mode for the defense. But it's called nonetheless. Big penalty, and backs up Texas. TCU's got to take advantage here.
2nd down and 16. Ehlinger. Underneath and incomplete. Well defended by Noah Daniels. So when you're a quarterback against the Gary Patterson team and you approach the line of scrimmage with the play, what's the first thing you're thinking about? Because you know they do some different kind of stuff.
Well, they do, because it comes out of the same shell. That's what's so difficult, right? Is they do a great job of lining up in a very similar set on almost every single snap, and then they will switch to the coverage that they want to run, whether it's quarters coverage or man coverage or zone coverage. So it's really hard to identify from a quarterback's perspective because it all looks the same.
Sam Ehlinger. Dancing. Ingram makes a nice move after the catch, and he'll pass the line of scrimmage. Stopped by Hodges Tomlinson.
And what a huge penalty that ineligible downfield was, because not only did that stall the drive out, but it knocked them out of potential field goal range.
So Texas will punt. Buchevsky backs up, and he'll send it away from around his 45. J.D. Spielman stands inside his 10. 23-21. Big game for both teams. Buchevsky angling it toward the corner. Oh, what a beautiful kick as it dies at the 5. TCU backed up, leading 23-21. Back to Austin after this. Welcome back to the University of Texas. Good to see fans in the stands. A lot of students. Not a lot of students. Let me correct myself saying that. A nice number of students. And you know, the students here, when they come to the game, they get tested for COVID-19 on Thursdays, and then they receive their results on Fridays, and they get tested right here at the stadium.
That's why in the student section, at least, you're not seeing a ton of social distancing.
It's a free-for-all.
Well,
we're all negative.
You know, it's
first down at 10 at the 7-yard line. What a weird, strange time.
Tell mine got it.
We live in. I don't have it either. There's the handoff to Foster. DeMarque tackled by Snacks Colbert.
Gus, it's interesting because I keep thinking to myself, like, how would I react, you know, if a game was being officiated this way? If this is, what would I do out here, right?
If you were the quarterback or the coach?
Quarterback.
Okay.
Or a coach. And you know what? You're going to have to expect it's going to continue, right? Weird flat, like this is going to continue. So you just have to overcome it, and you can't react in a poor fashion. And that's what I think that these quarterbacks have to do.
Second down and 5. And Foster again. Overshown. Stops him. But as you mentioned, they are trying to keep officials as local as possible. So
Yeah.
the crews aren't crews that work with each other all the time.
That's right, and that becomes very difficult for them. And they don't, you know, their teams as well, and they haven't had a fall camp to get ready and go and officiate during practices around fall camps around the country. So they're doing their best. Listen, this is certainly one of the more poorer games I've ever seen officiated, but you can't do anything about that, right? It's like an umpire with a large strike zone. That just is what it is that day, and you've got to adjust and react accordingly.
Third down and 2. Duggan looking for the first down. And he has his receiver, Blair Conright, with the catch.
Nice catch by Conright, going down to the ground. That ball is thrown just a little low and behind him, and he goes down and gets it, and he's able to move the chains. Big conversion there for TCU.
First down, Horned Frogs. And the handoff. And, you know, you were talking about strike zones. Umpire with a wide strike zone. Look at this, folks. This is my partner.
Oh, gosh.
When he played for the San Diego Padres organization. Boy, you look like a good-looking prospect.
Well, I can assure you I wasn't.
Oh, come on, man. You don't make it to pro baseball.
Oh,
Looked
man.
like you ate pretty good back then.
Hey, I didn't,
Nice size on you, quarterback.
I wasn't missing spread, is what they called it, the buffet. I didn't miss too many of those.
Second down and 8. TCU. Duggan drops it off. Barber. First down.
I've been wondering if Barber was going to get back into the game plan. He was so effective early, Gus. Remember, they were getting him the ball in creative ways. Those little jet sweeps, a screen pass here or there. And here they're able to get the ball back to him, and you can see how electric he is with the ball in his hands. And he's a guy that I think caused some serious problems for this Texas defense and already has so far today.
First down from the 36 for TCU. 37 seconds and counting here in the third quarter. And here's a quarterback run once again. Duggan, man, nice shifty moves to get out of bounds. And another first down. He's quicker than you think.
That looked a lot like last week. Missed tackles from Texas, and I loved the little hesitation that Duggan gave, and that's where he was able to break the second tackle and ultimately move the chains before he got out of bounds. And another Texas Longhorn shaken up. Their secondary has taken a pretty severe hit today. Their linebackers have been shaken up quite a bit. This is Chris Brown, one of their safeties. He missed 3 games with a fractured forearm last year. He's played a lot of football. 46 tackles on the year a year ago. Here he is as he's diving. Oh yeah, he just got the, you see that heel of Duggan just kind of went up and clipped him right in the chin. Good rhythm from this offense here on this series. They're finally able to get it. And Gus, what did they avoid? The penalty, right? Like the self-inflicted wound that this offense has avoided on this series. And now they're moving the football, doing a nice job here, running the football. Their quarterback has done a heck of a job, both in the run game and the pass game. We'll see where they go here on first down.
Max Duggan faced with the first down at the Texas 48. Longhorn short blitz. Duggan off his back foot down the sideline, and it is caught. Conright. Yes, sir. Let's go is right. Blair Conwright, the redshirt freshman from Lubbock.
What a catch, because this is terrific coverage by Deshaun Jameson. And Conrad, who made that nice third down catch, does he stay in? Wow, what a play there. Conrad out of nowhere coming up with some huge grabs for TCU. In rhythm here at the end of the third with a 2-point lead. 23-21 in Austin.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. We start the fourth quarter, 23-21. Partner, your thoughts on the first three?
I mean, we've had a bit of everything. Some great plays, some solid execution. I think Duggan has been sensational. He's the leading rusher right now for TCU with 67 yards. He's 7 of 17 to 24 for 208. And he looks to be in rhythm here now starting the fourth. 1st and 10 at the 14. Duggan over the middle, guns it, incomplete.
That ball intended for Pro Wells, but broken up. Adamora right there.
The story of the game so far has been Texas's defense and their ability to force field goals once TCU has moved the football down, and Overshown just got enough of that ball. Beautiful tip there from the linebacker. But Texas's defense has done a great job in the red zone. Let's see if TCU can figure out the problem.
And they run the reverse. Spielman found a little crease. Tried to turn it up, but is dropped. Caden Stearns a day away.
They were having a ton of success when they were getting into the wide sets like a spread formation and then motioning Tay Barber back into the backfield from the wide receiver position, and then they would run that little zone read with Duggan. They ran it for a touchdown earlier in the game, and they haven't really come back to it. This feels like a spot on the field that would be a perfect call. Try to spread the defense out for Texas, and now a day away is down, which means that they'll be even more shorthanded at that linebacker position.
Remember, Juwan Mitchell was ejected from the game for targeting in the first half. Overshown has been down. Another one of their linebackers now. Iodeli a day away, banged up. Max Duggan faced with a 3rd down and 4 at the Texas 8. Horned Frogs still with an opportunity to get a 1st down. Duggan, and he's knocked down in the backfield for a loss. Ha-ha, Snacks finally got something to eat.
He finally gobbled him up, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Great play up front. He's able to split the double team, and he's able to get right through, and then he's right there for Duggan and brings him down in the backfield. And again, the Texas defense holds. This TCU team has just not been able to execute and turn their red zone possessions into touchdowns. That's the story of the game so far.
Texas doing a much better job, in my opinion, partner, of tackling today than last week.
That's certainly the case.
And here's Kell. Another field goal good. 26-21 here in the 4th. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. And by Rocket Mortgage. For the personalized playbook on home loans, Rocket can. Gary Patterson's team continuing to fight on the road. They were disappointed with the performance last week against Iowa State at home. Different story this week. Right now, with the lead against the 9th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Deshaun Jameson, who had a big kickoff return, called back as he got it close to the goal line in the first half, will not get an opportunity here.
Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. Sam Ehlinger, a long run, got Texas set up, and they were able to pay off that series with this touchdown. Wait for it on 4th down, a mistake. TCU was offside, and then again, Texas's defense forces a field goal from TCU. The last 3 drives from TCU have ended in field goals that were in the red zone, and so this defense for the Longhorns keeping them in it here in the 4th quarter.
First down from the 25, and they'll run it straight ahead with Johnson. But this is usually Sam Ehlinger time.
Well, it was last week, wasn't it?
Yep.
Really, it was like the last 3 minutes.
That's all he needed.
That's all he needed down 15. Remarkable comeback.
2nd and 5 at the 30. First down and more. Johnson all the way down to the TCU 30-yard line. LaKendrick Van Zant with the saving tackle.
And the theme of big plays continue against TCU. Their defense plays really well for stretches, and then all of a sudden one guy gets out of position and bang, a huge play. It happened last week against Iowa State and here again against Texas.
Ingram in to replace Johnson at running back. After the 40-yard gain by Roschon Johnson. Ehlinger looks all day, dances, and just dumps it. Good coverage in the secondary by the Horned Frogs.
Let's go back to that run here, because it was just a huge hole over there on that right side and a great cut by Johnson. You see that vision where he saw that right there. He gets up north and south, and then he's gone, and you see how electric he is as a runner on a big gain. But again, just out of their gap by 1 gap, that TCU defense. The same happened last week. Breece Hall made him pay, and there Johnson makes him pay today.
2nd and 10 at the 30. Ehlinger. Ooh. Schooler with the reception, but Hodges Tomlinson there with the crushing hit.
What great recognition and then closing speed, and they just don't get it blocked right. 2 Texas players trying to block on the outside, and a huge mistake there because number 7, Jake Smith, did not go to the outside.
A loss of 1, 3rd down and 11. Big play here for Texas. Ehlinger. And a strike inside the 20. What a throw. Jared Wiley, the big fella. He's 6'7", 255, tight end with the grab.
And he had that monster 3rd down catch earlier in the game, and they go back to him on this 3rd down, and he moves the chains.
Gain of 12, 1st and 10 at the TCU 19. Ehlinger hands it off to Ingram. Trying to get to the edge. Ingram staying on his feet, fighting hard. Goes down at the 15-yard line. D. Winters, the middle linebacker for the Horned Frogs, with the tackle.
Well, these possessions just become so important. You can't trade field goals. You can't sit there. Once you get into the red zone, you got to capitalize and score touchdowns. TCU has been unable to do that. We'll see if Texas can get in the end zone.
2nd and 6 at the 15. Ingram. Shifty. Ingram busts through and picks up another 1st down. Van Zant with the stop. Texas starting to lean on the Horned Frogs now. With 10:42 to go in the 4th.
Good movement up front, wasn't there? Finally, you saw from Texas, they got that push. And then Ingram was able to press the hole. See the push up front, and then he's not touched until he's way down the field, and he makes one great cut, and he's able to get a 1st down. They love those crossing routes down here. They already scored once on that. Those bunch sets, they produce a lot of those crossing routes.
1st down and goal at the 7. Ehlinger throws it up and incomplete. What, I would imagine you're going to say crossing routes. What kind of plays work when you're inside the red zone when it comes to the passing game?
Well, I mean, listen, one is if you have a personnel matchup advantage, you go to it, and they think that they have one here with Eagles, and this is just really good defense forcing them over to the sidelines by Noah Daniels, and Eagles doesn't have any room to catch the ball, so you got to go with either personnel or you try to even out the numbers, and it then depends, Gus, on what coverage they're running. TCU runs a lot of man. That's where you would run a lot of crossing routes.
Empty backfield for Ehlinger. He may run it here. Four receivers at the bottom. Ellinger looking, thinking. Incomplete.
Man, that coverage is just so good, isn't it?
Yes.
They match up so well, and there was nowhere to go with the football. They try to run that empty set, and there's no space. TCU does a great job here on the far side. This one-on-one, they do the little corner blitz, but Washington played that perfect. He was just over the top of Eagles, so Ellinger couldn't get to him right away, and there was nowhere to go with the football.
So 3rd down and goal. Sam Ellinger looking in the end zone. Touchdown, Texas. Malcolm X. Epps snuck in the game. Lined up as a wide receiver. He's a tight end. And scores to give Texas a 27-26 lead.
He needed just a little bit of time to cross the face of the safety, and he's trying to get right there, and he's able to do that, and then Ellinger gives him a really good ball. That's an accurate pass against one of the best cover safeties in America in Ardarius Washington, and Epps comes in. He's a big frame at 6'6", 244, and they found that matchup that I was talking about. You want personnel in the red zone in order to score touchdowns? They got it. 6'6" against 5'8".
Texas going for 2. Ellinger hands it off. Ingram leans and scores. (29-26). Longhorns coming alive here in the 4th quarter. Sam Ellinger putting this one on the money. Malcolm Epps says, "I'll take it." Welcome back to Austin, where Texas has taken a 3-point lead over TCU. And after a really tough start in the first half of play with a number of different mistakes and penalties, Longhorns lead at 29-26 with 9:56 to play in the 4th quarter. Thursday Night Football returns to Fox. Brady and the all-new Bucks look like the real deal as he meets Super Bowl 52 rival Nick Foles and the Bears on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. Nick Foles getting the starting job now. Came in last week and looked terrific through 3 touchdown passes to lead the Bears to victory as he replaced Mitch Trubisky.
What does Atlanta got to do to get a win?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, oh, my goodness.
Maybe not lead.
Oh, geez.
First down to the 25 for the Horned Frogs. Play fake. Rolling out of the pocket. Duggan finds his receiver, and it's Johnston. Picks his way forward for a nice game.
Gosh, I really like him as a player. He is an excellent receiver. I could see him gaining 5-10 pounds during the course of his time here at TCU, and he's going to be a star. I think he's the type of guy that could easily play on Sundays with that type of frame and ability.
Weighs 193 right now. First down after the 14-yard pickup. And this one incomplete, intended for Miller out of the backfield.
This TCU offense has had success, folks. 416 yards of total offense. Just over 6 yards per play. They've run the ball for almost 200 yards today, 5 yards per carry. The problem has been the penalties. Whenever they're not clean, when they back themselves up, then they've had to punt it away. Then the big difference has been in the last 3 possessions when they've gotten into the red zone, they haven't capitalized with touchdowns.
Second down. And Texas right there again. Osai brings down Max Duggan for a loss.
Well, we've seen a lot of pressure on these long yardage situations from Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator, or he's tried to stunt in order to free up Joseph Osai, number 46, to get loose in the pass rush. He's moving him right now. He was playing at the bottom of the formation. He's going to go to the top of the formation right now. He's the best pass rusher that Texas has. We'll see if Chris Ash tries to dial something up for Joseph Osai here.
3rd down and 11 at the 38. Duggan under pressure, almost intercepted. Anthony Cook just couldn't get to the football. Duggan under extreme pressure.
From guess who? Joseph Osai, and that's exactly what Chris Ash did. He runs the stunt to get Osai a free rush, and Osai is right in the face of Duggan, tips that ball, and it was almost intercepted out there on the edge. Duggan just did not have a chance on that play with a free rusher right in his face.
Sandy will punt from his own 23. Sean Jamison at the 18. Oh, terrific punt by Sandy. Down inside the 10-yard line.
That last drive was huge for the Longhorns. It started with that huge run from Johnson, and then Ellinger was able to execute in the passing game. Ingram got loose in the running game, and then they capitalized there. Beautiful ball to Epps for a touchdown. They got a 2-point conversion, but really it was the big plays, and these big plays have been the story of the day for the Texas offense. They've had 4 of them over 30 yards, accounting for 173 total yards. Wiley, the big catch early in the game. Johnson on the last play, a 40-yard rush. Those 173 yards, about 55% of their total yards on just those 4 play alone, almost identical to the game that TCU's defense played a week ago against Iowa State.
1st down and 10 at the 8-yard line. Ingram tackled as he crosses the line of scrimmage by O'Shawn Mathis.
So many times, though, you see teams that are straining to come back, and then they finally do, and they finally get the lead, and then there's a bit of a letdown on the next series, and that's what Sam Ellinger and the Longhorns have to avoid here.
2nd and 9. Ellinger runs the option. Keeps it. Picks up a couple. Mathis again. Texas trying to work the clock. Up 29-26.
How good was that punt, right? Because now all of a sudden you're in this 3rd and obvious, 3rd and 6. Gus inside the 15-yard line. This becomes a really precarious down and a punt that could flip field position. If they don't gain any yards here, TCU's probably going to get the ball around their own 40-yard line.
Let's go! Hey, right 20.
Sam Ellinger looking over the middle, caught, but not enough for Jake Smith. And that brings up 4th down in the punting situation for the Longhorns.
He just had to jump a bit because he was about to get contact from one of the defensive linemen from TCU, and because of that, the ball was low, and Smith had to go down and get it. He doesn't get the run after the catch, and now you have to punt. And TCU's going to have good field position, so credit their punt team. An excellent punt, pinning Texas deep. Their defense forces the punt, and now it'll put their offense on the field with good field position.
Buchevsky punting from inside his own 5, and he gets it away. Still on the move down the sideline. Here we go. Nicely done by J.D. Spielman. TCU will have excellent field position here in the 4th quarter, down 29-26. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Gary Patterson has never started a season 0-2. Losing last week to the Cyclones of Iowa State at home. So a huge game for TCU and a huge game for for Texas, knowing that they'll take on Oklahoma in Red River next Saturday. If they win this, they can go into it undefeated. Now it's Foster. TCU will not make it easy. Anthony Cook with the tackle.
Good pursuit there from that Texas defense. Check out all the white hats at the football as he's trying to get the edge, and count them up. They're all there. Credit the entire Texas defense there. Good pursuit. These wide receivers are going to have to make plays. I think that's where the mismatch is for TCU, in particular Quentin Johnston at the bottom of your screen, number 1.
Duggan goes through his progressions, deflected, and picked up by Johnston.
Man, what an adjustment he made.
Was that ball deflected, Joel?
Yeah, absolutely. It was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Looks like it's just going to hit the turf, and Johnston breaks off his route, comes back, gets the ball, and now Duggan just sneaks on 3rd down for the 1st down. Really smart sequence of plays there. You get the benefit of that tip ball that gets caught, and then you move the chains by just playing fast and having your quarterback lean forward for a 1st down.
We're at legendary Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, home to the Longhorns. I'll never forget the first game I watched here, 1990. Texas A&M. Peter Gardier, quarterback for the Longhorns. Lance Pavlis, Bucky Richardson, quarterbacks for Texas A&M. Darren Lewis as well, running back for Texas A&M under R.C. Slocum. What a game that was. Texas won it. 1st down at the 31, and it's Foster.
TCU's offensive line is having so much more success running the football than they are in pass protection. Duggan has been under duress most of the day. This pass rush has done a really nice job, but when they're able to lean forward, stay on schedule, create 2nd and 5, 6, and then continue to run the football, bring the wide receivers in motion for the little jet sweeps, that's when they're starting to have success. Probably motion back into the backfield right now with Foster.
2nd and 5 at the 26. Duggan with the quarterback run, straight ahead. Maddox. Duggan. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
Check out the eyes of the Texas linebacker. As soon as Duggan catches the snap, Jaquist puts his eyes to the right. That opens up the entire lane in the middle of the field, and Duggan's got free reign to go to the end zone. What a great call.
And remember, Juwan Mitchell, their starting middle linebacker, is not there. He was tossed from this game for targeting in the 1st half. So TCU comes right back down the field. Their quarterback scores, and the Horned Frogs reclaim the lead on the road in Austin. 33-29. Welcome back. Max Duggan last season against Texas, big numbers. Today against Texas, big numbers. Kell kicks it off and out of the end zone. Let's check in with Jenny.
I know all day, Gus, we've mentioned Juwan Mitchell out of this game for Texas. The linebackers have been affected. I'm also being told Adeoye, he's questionable with a shoulder injury right now. And on the other side of things, running back Roschon Johnson, who had that touchdown earlier, he is also being evaluated with the shoulder. So it feels like the list for Texas right now, the numbers are dwindling in terms of injury availability.
Well, they're going to need some magic from Sam Ehlinger again. Remember last week, down 15 with 3 minutes to play at Texas Tech. Ehlinger told Tom Herman, his head coach, they left us too much time. We're going to tie this thing up and win it in overtime. Let's see what he does today as he drops it off in the flats to his tight end, Cade Brewer. But he doesn't go very far. Nice tackling by this Horned Frog defense.
Noah Daniels with a great tackle there.
Ehlinger looks the other way. Ingram stumbles, but there is a flag.
TCU was trying to substitute, and they were trying to run guys onto the field, and I don't think Texas had substitutes, so Ellinger does the right thing and snaps it right away.
Substitution on the defense. More than 11 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
See, as they're going to be trying to jog a big guy off the field right here. That was number 95, Terrell Cooper. And he just doesn't quite get off the field before Ellinger very alertly snaps the football to draw the flag.
Second down and 4. Sam Ellinger. He finds his receiver in the slot. Ingram sprinting. Ingram tracked down at the 15. LaKendrick Van Sant. What a tackle.
It's just a little wheel route right out of the backfield, and Ellinger sees it right away. Another breakdown in coverage from TCU, and another huge play here, setting them up inside the red zone, and now almost inside of 3 minutes.
Texas runs it with Ingram. Stumbling, and he'll get to the goal line. Keontae Ingram.
He was reaching for it. Didn't look like he got there. Elbow down right at the 1-yard line. Texas will go fast here. Try to use tempo and run it in.
First down and goal at the 1-yard line. Ingram, and this time he's hit and knocked backwards, and TCU says they fumbled. TCU says they have the ball.
I think he lost the ball when he tried to go up and over. Ellinger is walking off the field.
And the Horned Frogs recover it at the 1. Wow.
Holy cow, what a play. Garrett Wallow, number 30, is the one that knocked it out.
On the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, TCU.
D. Winters, number 13, he makes the initial contact. Then Waller right there, he's the one that punches it out with his right hand, and it was loose in the pile. You can tell they dove after it right away. Ellinger knows it. There's Winter. He makes contact. You see that right hand from Wallow. Garrett Wallow, all Big 12 a year ago. 125 tackles on the season. That was the most in the conference. And Keontae Ingram coughs it up inside the 1-yard line. What a massive mistake on a day filled with them. What a huge play from D. Winters and Garrett Wallow, the two linebackers for Gary Patterson's defense.
2 turnovers for Texas. So now with 2 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the 4th, TCU forces the turnover. Each team with 3 timeouts left.
Well, Gary Patterson's teams have been involved in these one-score games, it seems like every single week. They're 1-7 in their last 8 one-score games, but here they have the advantage. Backed up next to their own goal line. I expect some pressure here from Texas.
Duggan hands it off to Barlow, and Barlow crosses the line of scrimmage. Not much.
Looks like Texas will take a timeout. Try to save some of this clock.
Timeout, Texas. Their first of the half. 30 seconds and wait.
Sam Ellinger just wants one more shot at it, but he can only look on from the sideline right now because TCU has it second down and 8 at their own 3. The Texas defense has to come up big. They need a stop desperately. Duggan will take the snap out of his own end zone. Here's the handoff. Miller around the corner. And Miller, nicely done. Tackled as he crosses the line of scrimmage. This Texas team doing a much better job tackling. B.J. Foster this time. And we'll step away one more time. (33-29), TCU looking for their first win of the season. Texas trying to remain undefeated. Big play here. 3rd down, 7 at the 4.
These wide receivers have been a problem. Quentin Johnston's at the bottom of your screen. He's the biggest mismatch. He's 6'3", the most talented player on the field.
Duggan in the shotgun. Here's a reverse. Barber. First down, TCU. Dave Barber knew what he needed, and he got it. Needed 7, and he gets 9.
It's so interesting because Texas was playing it safe. Caden Stearns, the safety, he was well over the top of Quentin Johnston. They were afraid of that one-on-one matchup, and then Barber needed just a little bit of space in order to explode for that first down, and he was able to find it because the safeties were playing back over Quentin Johnston. Really nice play call there from Sonny Cumbie, and now they've got to get into that milk the clock mode and really take as much of this down as they possibly can.
First down at their own 13. And they'll stay on the ground. Barlow. And you mentioned it, not just that play, but the entire game. It seems like this TCU offense has had a really good plan coming into this one.
They have. They just didn't execute in the red zone a couple of times, you know, and then they obviously made a lot of mistakes as it relates to penalties. Once they've cleaned that up, they've been able to move the ball incredibly well. 472 yards on the day, and Gary Patterson's got to be thrilled with the fact that they were able to execute here coming out of the shadow of their own goal line. I mean, it looks like Texas is going in to take the lead. They get the giant play from the defense, and then a huge run there from Barber, able to get them some breathing room. Now, with no timeouts left in 1:38, you know, you're looking at barely any time left if you can get a couple of stops here. If you're Texas, you're looking at getting the ball back somewhere in that 20 seconds range, 15 seconds range.
The day did not start off well for the Longhorns. Penalty after penalty, mistake after mistake early. They finally got it together in the second half, only to fumble it going in on the 1-yard line. Foster.
Well, the last possession for TCU, Gus, what a great run from Duggan. He's been terrific all day long. Best player today for TCU has been their quarterback, and what a story. He misses 6 weeks at camp. He comes back. He leads them in this ball game. Then Texas went right down the field. What a game-saving tackle that was. And then really the two linebackers coming up with the biggest play of the day, the turnover. And TCU was able to punch it out here, get a first down, and with 55 seconds left now, they got a third down opportunity. Have to run this football.
Third down and 7. And Foster tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Texas out of timeouts. TCU not in a rush. Gary Patterson coming into Austin, and he's 27 seconds away from scoring just a huge upset.
Yeah, Gary's going to wait until this clock goes all the way down. The play clock will go all the way down to 1, and then he'll call a timeout.
What was the key to this game for Gary Patterson's team?
I mean, it has to be the last possession. I mean, that's the play of the game. They're on the 1-yard line. They're able to get a stop right there. I thought that they did a heck of a job with their secondary, making the passing windows small for Sam Ehlinger. Ehlinger was not his best, 17 of 36. He did have 4 touchdown passes, and then they just kind of overcame. And all those mistakes, they've had 14 penalties. They turned the ball over, and yet they're still right here. The chance looks like they're going to get a victory in Austin and beat this Texas team again. Again, TCU is 6-2 against Texas since coming to the Big 12. And today there was a lot of perseverance and then just a gigantic play by their 2 linebackers to punch that ball out and get the most meaningful turnover of the day right there at the 1-yard line.
You know, Gary Patterson loves to play the guitar. He's a singer, guitar player, writer. He says You know, I'm pretty much an old country music rock and roll guy, he said. Somewhere between Fleetwood Mac, James Taylor, and George Strait. Well, I tell you what, after this game, if they hold on for the next 6 seconds and win it, he may head back to Fort Worth and write him a new country music song.
Yeah.
We saw him performing yesterday.
I'll tell you what.
On video.
Yeah, we did, but he's desperate to get this punt off because Texas is going to send the house right here. And, you know, you don't have to go too far back in college football history with that Michigan State game. You know, crazy things can happen. So there's a lot you can do here. They're going to keep their offense on the field, which is a really interesting play. He's betting right now that he can take 6 seconds off the clock with just his offense. I suspect that they're probably going to snap it to Duggan, and he's going to run back and either take the safety right away or try to take as much time off the clock before
Texas gets to
the end zone. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Duggan wants to eat up 6 seconds. Can he do it? He's running around, running around, running around. Now he steps out of the back of the end zone. No time on the clock.
Oh, there's a flag on the field. This is going to present an untimed down right here. It looks like they're going to call TCU for holding. Fitting way to end this game, right?
On a penalty.
Waiting for the officials.
The result of the play is a safety. Holding on the offense. Penalty will be accepted half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. We'll have one untimed down.
Well, partner, I've never seen this, so I don't know if you could possibly prepare for this. If the result of the play is a safety, then the next thing that you would have to do is kick the football off. So you can't have an untimed down unless you're replaying the down. So Tom Herman would have to decline this. If he accepts it, I believe then the offense would stay on the field and they would have to do this all over again. But then the safety
will come off the board.
I would assume the result of the play can't stand.
33-29, the score remains on the scoreboard. I think the officials are trying to suss it out.
We had a safety, which is a scoring play. 10-yard penalties do not carry over. The safety will end the ball game.
And that's it. Gary Patterson comes into Austin, Texas with his TCU Horned Frogs. And they upset the 9th-ranked team in the nation. And what a weird game it was.
What a game from TCU. To overcome 15 penalties, in large part because their quarterback played a brilliant game. Max Duggan is just a champ, man. I tell you what, comes back from that heart issue, missed 6 weeks of camp, played the second half a week ago, finally gets a full game today, and was absolutely sensational.
So TCU wins their first game of the season. They bounced back from a home loss last week to Iowa State and upset 9th-ranked Texas 33-31 the final. We'll have more post-game coverage from Rob and the guys after the break.